It's been 3 weeks since the mayhem of Toulouse. Wounds have healed, but as we embark on round 3 of Super League Triathlon, the rivalries, they are running hotter than ever. This time, we trade the cobblestones and the laneways for a return to the sand and surf of Malibu, California for the series stateside chapter. Always a favourite on the calendar and the last outing before the grand final in the Middle East. And before we get into it, let's have a look back at how it all shook out in France. Welcome to Toulouse. Leher rocketing down the hill. The French crowd push Leo Bergier on. Disqualification, Leher. Oh, no! Wild's gone on an extra lap. Kate Woff has announced herself as a contender with a dominant performance. Leo Bergier, first win of the season, and don't the crowd love it as well. What a race and what a crowd it was. And after all that, and due to the win from Kate Woff, the RTP Global Sharks maintained their lead, only losing a little bit of ground. The Bahrain Victoria Scorpions moving into second in what is a very tight race for second with the Santara Tech Eagles, while the Warriors have dropped from second to fourth. Now, for the third year in a row, Malibu, well, they bring the Eliminator. 3 swim, bike, run stages where the race is both at the front and at the back. The last 3 athletes across the line after the first 2 swim, bike, run stages are cut, with the remaining athletes making it to the final stage, which is a pursuit start where every second they have lost to the leaders is paid for in the final fight for the finish. As always, the short shoot is a part of Super League Triathlon. The first across the mountain line after the swim and bike and across the finishing line after the first run wins a little shortcut to take on the first lap of the final run. Now, the women's race, it isn't too far away at all, and the leaderboard is very, very finely poised. Unless you're a fan of the Brits, of course, or indeed of the Sharks, with 3 of them at the top. Kate Woff, Olivia Matthias and Jess Fulliger, all 5 British Sharks in the top 10. However, Matthias and Fulliger and Steinhauser are not here. 2-time champ Katie Zafiris, she's back on home soil. You can't see her there, but she is with Rebecca Charlton.
You're back here in the US. You've even had a night in your own bed. How are you feeling ahead of this?
I'm really excited. It's hard racing, and I'm knowing to expect a lot of pain, but I'm getting a lot of energy just by being back and racing in the US.
Talking about being back, I had the pleasure of meeting your lovely little son yesterday. He's here at the race watching you, of course, your biggest fan. You and I gave birth about the same time. I'm delighted when I fit in any exercise. How have you done it? How have you come back to this level?
I think I was just really excited to get back to this triathlon community and get back to my goals, but also I have so much support, and we wouldn't be able to do it without having all that.
Well, you are truly amazing. And what are your expectations for this course, this swim?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, it's buzzing down here. It's so loud. What are your expectations for this swim?
I got in before, and I'm really glad I did, because the conditions are super challenging and you can't even see the buoy. It's definitely not a swim where you're going to feel fast, so you really just have to try and do the best you can and be strong.
Good luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, it does look pretty treacherous. The water cold too, 16.9 degrees. Here is the start list for the women's race. Cassandra Beaugrand comes in to boost the Scorpions alongside Leonie Perriot, a very strong Sharks team as well. And the Warriors have plenty of talent all the way through, as of course do the Eagles. Let's have a look now as we see the first women out onto the black carpet, and we start with the Scorpions. Nicole Vanderkay, who of course was part of a terrible crash last time out, and that was with Alice Beto, who also joins another new mum as well, with her son Ettore, born in November. Barbara de Koning, another front pack swimmer, only 20 years of age. And then we'll see Leonie Perriot, the first of the 2 French women, who of course had a win in Toulouse, and then a first time out in Super League Triathlon for Cassandra Beaugrand. We'll go down now to Chris McCormack.
Chris, such a stacked lineup today. What can we expect?
Well, this is Malibu. Anything can happen in this one. I know a lot of athletes are very nervous about the swim, but we've had our bad luck in the series. We're halfway through, and you're going to see some big point scoring from us, I hope, today.
Good luck out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chris McCormack standing in for Michael Gilliam, who is injured in this race, as the Sharks with Kate Woff, who had that big win in Toulouse. She's gone the wrong way, but now she's figured out where she's going. Inona Miller, the 24-year-old, and Tilly Anima as well, just 21 years of age. Both of those athletes on their series debut. But Sophie Caldwell, look for her in a tough swim, 7th last week in Pontevedra. And she's always a fantastic athlete, as is Beth Potter, the brand new World Triathlon Champion. We head down now to Michelle Dillon.
Michelle, 2 such strong opening rounds. What are your expectations today?
Well, we're here in Malibu and we know the surf can provide some really different outcomes, but my ladies are ready for what's thrown at them today. We are pumped, we're ready to go.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
We move on to the Centara Tech Eagles. There is the 2021 Under-23 World Champion Emma Lombardi. 1 race and 1 podium so far in Super League. Kathy Ashar, top 10 here last year, 11th overall, moved from the Scorpions to the Eagles this year. Sophie Alden on debut. In fact, it's her first time racing outside of Europe. The 15-year-old Fanny Zalai, who has picked up 8 championship points, and Jean Lahaye, who was disqualified last time around. We head down to Tim Don, the manager.
Tim, how fired up are you and this team today for Malibu?
After Toulouse, we're in it all the way. It's such a course that suits our athletes. Malibu brings the best out of athletes with the surf, with the sand, and the course is just great. So we'll be looking to be right up there from the start.
Huge good luck to the Eagles today. Thank you.
Thanks.
And finally, and no doubt the biggest cheers reserved for the team that is All-American, Gina Serino, who actually debuted in Super League here last year. Montreal winner from the Arena Games. Kirsten Casper, 11th in London, missed Toulouse, but has multiple Super League podiums. Erica Ackerlin, number 34, former North American Under-23 champ. Summer Rappaport, who has so much experience in this format as well. And Katie Zafiris, who we just heard from, the 2-time champion. And to the right, in questionable thongs, is Nick Chase, and we'll go down and talk to him right now.
Nick, how much advantage will you have today? Home soil.
Well, every team always has a home advantage, and they just show up and they're fierce. Look at the USA athletes we've brought today. We couldn't be more thrilled to be here, and I think you're gonna see it in a moment. You're gonna see a lot of us out front. We're gonna be dominating this race course as long as humanly possible today.
We can't wait to see it, Nick. Thank you so much. We'll let you go. That is what all of our team managers think will happen. Tell us your predictions by scanning the QR code.
Right, it's time to get this underway. There has been plenty of discussion about the conditions, plenty of discussion about the cool temperatures, and it seems that the weather has kicked up the surf just a little bit. The Australian, New Zealand, America athletes all happy with the surf swim. Some of the Europeans not so much, as we welcome into commentary Annie Emerson and Chris McCormack, who has just run up here from what was probably a little cold spot down there on the sand.
It's a long run too. It's a tough run. It's straight into a headwind. And if you're looking at the screen for this swim conditions, there's a long sweep that's running from southwest, which is basically taking the field down towards those boats. So the start of this swim is going to be very, very interesting. I know a lot of the athletes are very concerned about it. The waves aren't there, but there's a lot of moving water.
Look at the shark there too. It's not as scary here as they are in Australia, I can tell you that. We're going to stand by for the first stage of swim, bike and run. Short shoots on offer at the end of each discipline. And, of course, a pursuit start. Every second counts. And it's time to get it underway here in Malibu. On your mark! The sand start, into the surf. And it's really a bit of a lottery here. Some athletes... Well, it looks like it must be lowish tide, so there's not much running into the water, straight into the stroke, and just where you are is important.
But right there's where the moving water is. You see Cassandra Beaugrand at the top of the screen. One of the sharks opting to go onto her hip. I saw at the start they ran around to get onto Cassandra's hip. The water is the sweep is going from Cassandra's side on the top of the screen to the left. So she's got probably the straightest line.
And they've gone really wide there, haven't they? And it was interesting to hear what Katie Safiris said about the chop, that it's actually really difficult to see where you're going and to actually pick out the buoy. From the aerial view, it looks easy, but when you're in the water there, really hard to pick out the buoys, even with 150 metres.
Is that Beth Potter that went with her?
Right, it's either Potter or potentially Woff, and I think Fanny Zalai's off the back as well in that group of 3, because they really split wide, and it looks like Beaugrand's taken the right line, but it's easy to judge from that aerial shot, but there's plenty of chop in this water. And I think Zalai's crossed her back to the other group.
Yeah, she's definitely got the best line, Cassandra. You can see that there's the first buoy. The water was sweeping down, it gave it. It pretty much lined her up. That buoy was in the centre of the start line, so she's going to hit that straight on.
That was an excellent start for her. I thought she'd gone really wide there, but she's absolutely nailed that first buoy perfectly.
Yeah, Beaugrand hasn't raced in this series thus far, has been a force when she has raced, and was a little bit nervous after the swim familiarisations yesterday. Is not someone who's had a lot of experience in the surf swim, but it was a pretty flat surf or like a break between sets when they got in. It's about catching those waves on the way back in, though, in case there is one. But it does seem quite choppy there, so maybe not as clean as it was yesterday.
She's going to turn here. You've got that's Summer Rappaport in the feet, so that side of the start line was definitely the best. But now these runs in, this is where the gaps can start to open up.
All right, they made the turn on the second buoy and they're heading back in, and already those athletes are at the back hoping that a wave is going to pick them up and sweep them in onto the beach. But with that crosswind, the conditions aren't that helpful for those waves to come in, as Rappaport seems to have been, she's not taken Beaugrand's feet, and instead she's gone out on her own, and she's certainly getting stronger as the swim goes on. You
just have to hit the beach, right? They've got to run through 2 yellow buoys up on the sand, so they just need to hit the beach anywhere and run through that. So the straightest way in from that can is a straight line. You don't really need the feet. You need to line up those 2 yellow cans on the beach and head for them.
And it's chilly in there, right?
17 degrees.
Yeah, just under 17 degrees. I picked out 16.9 degrees. That's chilly. I mean, it's a short swim, but some of them are going to feel it more than others.
This is the wave area, entering the wave area. Rappaport's moved up to pass Beaugrand.
Yeah, and the short shoot for the swim, that includes grabbing your bike and crossing the mount line, so the entirety of T1, I suppose. And here comes the wave trying to push people in. And some have missed it, some have caught it, and it's going to really stretch the field out. Don't forget it's a pursuit start, and all that good work has been undone by one wave. And instead of a warrior and a scorpion, it is an eagle. I think that's
Iona there.
Iona Miller and Jean Lahair.
Jean Lahair again. She did that last year.
Yes, she did. And she crosses, and I think that is, it's a great run up the black carpet from Lahair. She needs to mount her bike and potentially get the short shoot.
That's a deja vu from last year. That's exactly what she did when she beat Emma Jeffcoat last year. Whether it's luck or she's been really smart, she's nailed this swim again here this year.
Straight out, and it's going to be an eagle short shoot, and easily with a great transition from Jean Lahair, who won back in London and then was disqualified at this exact point in Toulouse. And behind then Rappaport and Beaugrand. Fanny Zelai's had a great swim. She's out there 5th. Emma Lombardi, Sophie Colwell, Kate Woff, who's your series leader, comes out 11 seconds back. And more than 30 seconds is going to cover this field. And Leonie Perriot had a very average swim.
Noticing they ran around the corner and jumped on their bike, which is a lot quicker. We learnt that last year. Transitions are key.
The course has been underwater this morning, but it seems to have dried up nicely, and it's a pretty rough course too, and quite technical. So athletes who aren't as strong on the bike technically, maybe like a Beaugrand or a Rappaport, will be happy with the fact that at least it's dry. We saw some pretty serious crashes last year at the top end of the course with Matt Hauser and Georgia Taylor-Brown, who end up coming back and finishing on the podium, unbelievably. It's sad she's not here. But a 3:52 swim, which in fact, from Lahair, matches the record from 2021 that was set by Lucy Charles. So in those conditions, that's a very strong swim.
Yeah, the athlete's really strung out as well, so it just goes to show how much the pace is being pushed here at the front. But you talked about the fact that it can be a bit treacherous, and that's mainly, we saw those crashes last year because of the wind, the sand that is blown up onto the course, which can make it really slippery on those turns.
Lahair out front, all on her own. Now, of course, there's 3 stages here. The race is at the back with 3 athletes set to be eliminated at the end of each stage. That is also on top of any athlete who falls more than 90 seconds behind the leader at any point, as Katie Zafiris takes it easy around the top end of the course. Make sure she's staying on the bike, which is important at this stage. But the race also is at the front, with every second lost to the leader in stage 1 and 2 paid for in a pursuit start for stage 3. So the pace is on at the back and at the front. Zafiris at the bottom of your screen, Erica Ackerland, who is facing and just tucking in on the wind coming back down. Important.
And it's a very strong wind today, so that back section's tight. You saw that corner they went through, we call it crash corner. It's where both Hauser and Georgia Taylor-Brown came through last year. I know all the athletes were practicing that left-hand turn. They've cleared it out a little bit with the sand, but with that wind, it's tending to come back onto the course, so it could pose a danger as the race goes on.
Lombardi now moved into second, so Eagles first and second. Beaugrand, the only Scorpion in the top 13. At this point, Alice Beto is 14th, the next in red.
Oh,
a little moment there too. I think that was Perriot crossing the line and just pushing it, and there's plenty of Scorpions at the back. Van der Kay having a difficult day out as well. She was in the points last time around. De Koning and Gina Serino, who comes back in after a win in the Arena Games in Montreal earlier in the year. Lombardi takes over the lead at the front, and she's only making her debut in Super League this year, but she's had one race at home in Toulouse, finished on the podium. She's an athlete who just is another one on that production line of quality French short course athletes.
Across the men and women there, it's amazing. They just continually punch out talent. I think it's the racing series they have in France. There's so much racing for them to build up through as juniors, as they move into under 23s, and they just land on this international circuit. Really experienced, really polished across the three disciplines, and you're seeing that today.
She's just 22 years of age. She's just turned 22, and having had a few conversations with her, she's incredibly mature for her age.
As the group forms at the front, we're going to go down to Rebecca Charlton, who's with the Eagles manager, Tim Don, who'll be very happy.
Looking very happy indeed. What a strong start for Lahair. She nailed that swim.
Never mind the swim, I was just so happy she got her helmet on this time, I really was. But we talked about doing the small things right, not making mistakes that we don't normally make, even though it's on the biggest stage. And we talked about the synergy of working together. Those sharks are there, though, as well, so we've got to watch out for them. It's a long day ahead of us, but they're doing exactly what they want to do, try and stay in at the front.
Tim, thank you.
I tell you what, we talk about the French athletes, but the British athlete, female athletes, are just amazing at the moment as well. The strength and depth is huge there. We've got Potter up there, Colwell up there, Kate Woff off that brilliant victory in Toulouse. And they're looking really strong, the Sharks.
Yeah, Beaugrand's kind of dropped off the back of this group, and she's trying to hold on.
She won't like the group.
The group, yeah, another moment. It's the bottom end of the course, which is hurting people now, taking it very easy.
As they come off that wet carpet and hit the concrete, it's slippery. That front wheel's getting washed out.
She's dropped back a little bit now into 7th, but Iona Miller, fantastic swim, staying with the front pack on the bike, the 24-year-old from Loughborough. She had some Arena Games experience, but she's been thrown in here into an extremely strong Sharks team, and she's more than holding her own. She's the 4th Shark in that line, but those British women are just so strong, and Colwell is now taking control at the front of this one, which I think is the safest place to be from Potter, Lombardi, Woff and Lahair. But there's a group of 7 with Beaugrand kind of in no man's land now, trying to latch onto the back.
She has a much improved bike now over the last year or so. Cassandra Beaugrand has technically improved massively, but I think she's still struggling on this course just a little bit. But I think she looks a lot stronger than she might have done last year.
The problem is you have Sophie Colwell on the front who can ride a bike very, very hard indeed. She's probably seen that Beaugrand's off the back with her big run. Thought, okay, now's the chance to strike a little bit, do some work, and put some distance in between her and Cassandra.
Well, the key is, if you're not good at bike handling, you've got to move to the UK, where it's basically wet all the time, and you get better. And that's exactly what Cassandra Beaugrand has done. She's like, I'm going to move where the weather's terrible, as they come around Crash Corner, which I think might be at the bottom of transition.
So notice Katie Safiri
starting to catch up to,
yeah,
Shah leading that extra group, and there is Zelai, who has dropped back through the pack somewhat, the 15-year-old.
Well, this is great work from the Sharks, it really is. And I'm fascinated to see what Kate Woff can do as well off the back. A lot of these athletes having raced the grand final in Pontevedra just 6 days ago, because the race was Sunday. So some of them are going to be pretty tired, and others are going to recover a bit quicker as they now prepare to come into the T2 and out onto the run. The shoes are already out of the pedals as they come around this tricky section on the bike course.
Yeah, sort of the 3-lap bike in this one, transitioning, and there's another short shoot on offer. The Eagles have taken one, and there's a bit of a mix-up there. Potter and one of the Warriors went past. Who's going to cross this line first? Potter is looking good for it, and I think she will, which means that the Sharks are going to pick up the second short shoot. And that can be allocated to anyone in that team by the team manager, and that'll happen during stage 2. And then now it is a race at the front. Zalai lost some time there.
Bad transition.
Yeah, bad transition. She's in danger of getting eliminated now. But Potter, the new world champion, freshly minted 6 days ago. Beth Potter, Jean Leher behind her, and then Lombardi.
There was a lot of chat about whether Potter would come back or not after winning the world title, but at the moment she looks full of running.
She was a little nervous going into that swim yesterday.
Let's find out exactly how she's feeling. We'll go to Michelle Dillon. She's with Rebecca.
Michelle, what a start, and I know you were communicating a lot with the team there in transition.
Yeah, look, we're having a fantastic start. We almost got that short shoot, which I couldn't believe we didn't get, but, you know, she did so well. To see Iona catch that wave like that was fantastic. All the girls are up there. Tilly's a little bit vulnerable right now, so she just needs to run really hard and she can still stay in this race. So I'm really happy where my girls are placed at the moment. Super happy.
You certainly should be, Michelle, thank you.
At this stage, Gina Serino and Barbara de Koning are getting close to being on the bubble of the 90 seconds. Serino's a fantastic runner, though, so I assume she's going to stay in, but she very much likely will not start in stage 3, because if those gaps are added up and they're over 90 seconds, you won't start stage 3. But Cassandra Beaugrand, as she has done, well, this just looks like every race this year at the moment, with Potter and Beaugrand, who are the 2 best runners at this point in the sport, are at the front, and Beaugrand did what she probably knew she could do, which is run back up to the pack with a decent transition.
Look at her hair tucked in there as well.
Yeah, I know. She's dangerous in this race.
She is wise beyond her years. She really is. Playing it really cool there, just tucked on the shoulder of Potter and Beaugrand.
So the race at the front and the race at the back, a group of 4 at the moment, with Beaugrand at the front, Leher, Potter and Lombardi. So 2 Eagles. Tim Don will be happy. Chris McCormack, you'll no doubt be relieved that you've got at least 1 lady in red at the front.
Yeah, Lee Chase just off the back of them. Cassandra she said she wanted to go after some run points for her. She said she's feeling great on the run. She was very nervous about the bike, so I'm glad she got through that. She'll build a lot of confidence. But the girl in second, Leher, is the one I think everybody's talking about for this race. I think she just feels like she can win one. I think she felt she was a little bit down after Toulouse and the helmet issue, and I think she's here to prove a point. Yeah,
difficult disqualification, but the rules are the rules, and it was probably the most minor infraction of the rules, but it fell underneath that Super League rule, so she missed out, which is disappointing for her. She obviously won in London, so she'll be looking to take the 15 points again, which means that negates the Toulouse result anyway, because it's your 2 best results and the grand final which count. So if she can take 2 wins, you can't do any better than that regardless. About 600 metres to go in the opening stage, and a group of 4 have pulled away from the field. We still haven't seen Barbara de Koning or Gina Serino cross the line, so they will be up there in the 60 to 70 second deficit area. Could be more than that, with these women at the front putting time into Colwell, who doesn't quite have the top-end speed of the others and has dropped back. There's de Koning and Serino, both 60 seconds back.
It's incredible when you look at those 4 on the front, the 4 women on the front. 3 of them have come out of that French high-performance system. I know Leher is no longer racing for France, but she learned her craft there, and there's only a Brit there.
That's true. That is true.
Whatever they're doing in that part of the world, the rest of the world needs to pay attention, because they are dominating.
Oh, no, forget the Norwegian method.
Yeah.
What's the French method?
The French method. Across men and women. It's remarkable.
Rappaport, Beto and Zalai, who has latched onto the back of a long string of women. And Perriot's further back than we probably would have thought. Had a difficult swim, and we've said it time and time again in the lead up to this race, is that with the combination of the eliminator format, the technical bike, and the surf swim means that if you don't have a good swim, you do not win this round.
And there's so much talk about that going into this race, with the waves playing such an important role on it, and the pot luck that comes in that. So I think everybody knows each race matters. In the past, the eliminator, people were able to cruise that first event, but now those days are done with the pursuit start at the end. Every single race matters, and you go as hard as you can to the end.
The other athlete that's dropped off, interestingly, is Kate Woff, our winner from Toulouse. Way off the pace now, so she's obviously struggling to recover from her race last weekend, and is not going to be able to repeat, by the looks of things, what she did in Toulouse.
Yeah, Woff and Perriot, who were your top 2 podium getters last time around in Toulouse, both nowhere, and this time it's Beaugrand, who hasn't raced at all in Super League, and she's going to want to win this stage.
This is a short shoot.
and take the short shoot for the Scorpions. So 3 short shoots, Eagles, Sharks and Scorpions. Potter across the line. The 2 Eagles follow 2.5 seconds back, and quite a big gap then back to Sophie Colwell. Now, there's a 4-minute gap between stages, and that starts when Beau Grand crosses the line. So each of these athletes will have progressively less time. Perriot goes up to Waff. There's your 2 podium getters. Beto, and then Zelaya finishes in 12th position. Rappaport and Vanderkay cross in 13th and 14th. And we're starting to get big gaps now. That is Erica Ackerland. And we have 5 athletes still out on course, and they are going to start to struggle in this second stage with less time to recover and having gone deeper than our front runners.
There's quite a big gap, 12 seconds between Colwell and Beau Grand at this stage in the race, and then the others drop off fairly quickly, I think. So this has been a tough first round for the girls.
And a debut as well in this style of racing for the 25-year-old Sophie Alden. There is Tilly Anima, and eliminated crossing the line are these athletes who will sprint to the end. Sereno and De Koning are both gone, along with Iona Miller, who had a great swim but struggled in the bike and run. So those 3 athletes are gone, and it's hands on hips all round. Sereno set the fastest runs last year, but that didn't save her in this one. She lost even more time, even on that last lap, another 7 seconds, if you can believe that. The game has been raised. Let's look back at it, and this is the wave that changed everything after Rappaport and Beau Grand were leading, and then suddenly it was Miller and Lahair who caught the wave, and it was a sprint up the beach. A good transition saw Lahair take the short shoot for the Eagles, and Miller crossed second. She would go backwards, and a bit of a mix-up heading into transition. Waff was caught up in that one as well. That was probably where her woes began. A second short shoot was awarded this time to the Sharks. Colwell was second in that run, but soon it was Cassandra Beau Grand who comes into the Scorpions team, who showed her class from Potter, Lahair and Lombardi, and that is how it shook out in the first one. Here are the gaps as they stand. 18 seconds back to Waff and Perriot, who finished 1 and 2 in Toulouse. A good start from Kathia Shah, who comes into the Eagles team for the first time. Zephyris and Casper also 14 seconds back and in contention, and Colwell didn't quite have the run to do it. From the top 4, 3 of whom are French or have been French in the past, 110 back to De Koning, who was last of all and eliminated. Well, the sun out here in Malibu, it has been absolutely tipping down all morning, but the sun comes out on Super League Triathlon, and it was a fast start from our big stars, I suppose, at the front, and the run so important at the end there.
Huge, huge. And what's going to be interesting now is the gaps on the start line. They start in exactly the same position of the pontoon draw, or the start draw that they did in the first race. But now with gaps between the women, there's a little bit more space to find your way to the better feet. Cassandra Beau Grand we saw in that first race, the better line. But conditions change. It's been 30 minutes. A lot can change in the sea in 30 minutes.
A lot can change in the sea in 10 seconds, as we saw at the end of that swim. And now it's another 300-metre swim, 3 laps on the bike for 3.6 Ks and a 1.6 K run. And the gaps are starting to get bigger, so it'll be on at the front. Here we go for the second stage, and it's reset. We now have 17 women in this race, a little bit more space out there, and some lessons maybe learned from the first swim is find Cassandra Beau Grand's feet and stay there.
She's had a great start, Cassandra, again on the right side. She got onto that first wave really, really well. But so's that left side this time with the Warriors.
Rappaport?
Is it Rappaport again and Zephyris on the far side?
Now they've got to swim right across, and you can see already like Beau Grand taking the right-hand side and turning right. So the wind and the waves coming from that screen right to screen left means that Beau Grand seems to have a lot less far to go than the Warriors out on the left-hand side. And all that comes from the pontoon draw, Chris McCormack, which you obviously are very clever, I suppose.
I don't know if I was clever, because you don't know what the conditions are going to be. We just tried to flank the start. We put Nicole Vanderkay on that far left side in position 1 and Cassandra Beau Grand on the right, just to give us a bit of room. The difficult thing when you're swimming in the ocean is the ability to spot the buoys. It takes you about halfway out before you see where you're going, so you swim blind for the first half of the swim. So for Cassandra, she was nervous going into the swim. it gave her the ability to just focus on her technique and then pop up and see where the buoy is, and it seems to work for her.
Well, yeah, she's going to turn the buoy first again. I'm not sure which eagle that is in the middle. Is that Lombardi?
Or Lahair. Lombardi, it looks like Lombardi, actually.
Yeah, it's a long, long, relaxed stroke, isn't it? I think Sandra Beaugrand's going to have to go a little bit, do a little bit of shimmering around that buoy there, isn't she?
T-bone Lombardi. No love lost in the French ranks. But 1 and 2 out the front, and then it looks to be Rappaport on Beaugrand's feet, and potentially Colwell.
Yeah, that's Colwell there on the left-hand side. I think what's interesting about Cassandra is, like, once she's settled into a race,
yes,
she's got the first stage done, hasn't she? And then
builds
the confidence
It
starts
really is.
to build.
It really is. She was so nervous going on the bike, especially with the rain this morning, as you saw that big crash last year in Munich.
We're going to go down now to Rebecca Charlton, who has one of our eliminated athletes, Gina Serino, who found the going tough.
How are you reflecting on immediate thoughts? I know that you're very frustrated, of course.
Yeah, super frustrated. Just the little things for me are super important, and I messed up in the transition. I'm always sort of in the back coming out of the water, and I need to stay connected, and so I messed up my mount, and I couldn't get my feet in my shoes, and so the little space between the group ahead just got too big, and I couldn't stay connected, really. So I'm excited to cheer for the Warriors, though. They're having a good one, so yeah, hopefully they can keep going and be strong. And I wish I could have contributed more.
Thank you so much.
Gina Serino, who has been a force in Super League. She had a good race here in Malibu last year, the fastest run, and then won the Montreal Arena Games, as did her partner Chase McQueen. And here comes the wave, and it is the great equaliser here, the swell.
Like
some of them got some of a run, yeah.
Vanderkay got a run on the left, just behind Cassandra Beaugrand.
What that does do now is really split the field up.
Wow. With
those at the back. And out of the water comes Rappaport.
Oh, Alice. Oh, no, that's Rappaport.
Colwell as well at the front. So those two and one of our cameramen. There's a race in 3.
Nice swim from Sophie Colwell, really nice swim. That would have given her a little bit more confidence, having lost quite a few seconds on the run.
She needs to really hammer this bike now.
Yeah.
She will lose Rappaport if she does. Lombardi 6 seconds back, and that wave caught the front 4 or 5 and split the field up quite significantly.
The swim time at 3:28.
3:28?
Yes. That's the fastest swim of the day, correct?
That's the fastest swim ever here in Malibu.
So there's your points for the swim right there. That wave, Sophie Caldwell.
This is what we love about this sort of swim. I mean, and a lot of the athletes talking about that sometimes it's pot luck. I mean, there are athletes that come in here who've grown up in the surf and they can read the waves, but sometimes it is just luck.
So difficulty with the buckle again and a slow transition for Zalai, who is right at the back. Perio again having a difficult swim. Casper having a tough swim. Shah, who was so good in their first stage, she's 24 seconds back. So suddenly the gaps have opened up significantly, and athletes who can have 2 good back-to-back stages like Caldwell, Lombardi, Beaugrand potentially, well, they'll see their deficit grow significantly into the pursuit start for stage 3. But at the front, it's Caldwell. And immediately Rappaport's been dropped behind Lombardi, who's overtaken her. And Colwell knows she needs to put the hammer down, stay away, because she doesn't quite have the run of Lombardi and Beaugrand.
She lost that 12 seconds in that opening stage, so she's going to prefer to be out on her own.
And the weaknesses start to show now that the pack is all split up, so you can't sit down and get a draft. So they'll have something to focus on out front. Sophie Colwell will enjoy this. You know, she loves a bit of crit bike racing, and she'll enjoy being out the front. It'll give her some confidence. We can see some of the athletes joining back up again. Katie Safiris has had a good swim, sitting there in 3rd place. Rappaport back in 4th. Is that Cassandra Beaugrand, the first scorpion there?
Yes.
She's again, you know, finding herself with a little gap in front of her and having to work into the win herself. But some more Warriors up the front, and that'll make Nick Chase, the team manager, very happy. Let's hear what he has to say. He's with Becca right now.
Rappaport right up there after that swim.
Absolutely. We know Summer came into this with a little bit of a back issue. She's really wanted to send it and get some swim points on that second swim. The best part about this is all of our girls are still tightly together. We're hoping the risk of elimination for the second round is not even on our radar. So everyone is performing. Erica is really stepping up. We're proud of her for being in the mix, and I couldn't be happier with what we're doing right now as a Warriors team.
Thank you so much, Nick.
Sophie Colwell is leaving nothing out there in this bike leg. She's got such good bike handling skills, take more pace into that bottom part of the course than anybody else.
Lombardi's going to benefit from Safaris out in front. Safaris
Yeah.
went straight around Summer Rappaport, knowing that was Beaugrand and Rappaport, two of the weaker technical bike riders, and that'll enable that gap to open up because both those women will not close. She went straight up onto Lombardi, and they're gone.
Perio as well has lost that pack. She's 4 seconds behind Shah and Ackland, Beto, Potter, and that long group. So Perio basically discount her out from this racing. Zelaya is right there too, looking to potentially get eliminated. She's picked up championship points in both her outings so far, so finding things a little bit tougher, especially in transition in this time. But Lombardi looks strong in this one, and as you say, sitting in behind Katie Zafiris is a very good spot to be in terms of saving a few matches for stage 3, whereas Caldwell knows that she has to put as much time into the field as possible.
Yeah, deja vu, isn't it, from Neon when she rode off the front there so wonderfully. She loves to be out in front on her own, but her run in the first run looked just slightly off, whether she's a bit fatigued from the travel and stuff. So she's doing herself a lot of favours here, getting this really nice gap. And for me, she's starting to ride away from Safiris and Lombardi.
She's committed. She's moved straight to the front of the saddle. You saw that straight out of the swim, straight on the front of the saddle, driving in the front. Katie Zafiris, if she wasn't there, that gap would be even wider.
Yeah, what's really important here to think about is that you only need it's your 2 best results. You can race all 3 of the rounds before the grand final, but you only need 2 good results because they're the only ones that are going to count. And when you look at a Zafiris, well, she missed a round, so she's on 8 points, but she can dramatically improve her place in the standings because she missed a round. Caldwell as well finished 2nd in London, didn't race, so she could end up right near the top of the standings with a good result as well. And Lahair, having been disqualified last week, could finish right up the top of the results too. So there's going to be a lot of change, especially with Kate Woff sitting in around 7th or 8th position. She currently has a 4-point championship lead, which she will quickly see evaporating if things continue in the way they are at the moment.
I tell you what, Safiris is absolutely biting out of her skin here because she is making some inroads into Sophie Caldwell's lead as we see the chase pack coming around now. It's Shah that leads, but 15 seconds down still on Caldwell. And some of the main contenders from early on, Potter now 18 seconds down, Rappaport back in 20, Beaugrand in 20.
Yeah, they're fine. Look at that. The time that Caldwell is putting into everyone on the bike in one lap was 8 seconds faster than Cassandra Beaugrand. That is hard for her to run back.
She's pulled back the loss. She's pulled back what she lost in that opening round at 12 seconds.
Well,
so
she's pulled it back and more.
Yeah, on GC, she's going to get the start.
Could be a very, very tight race. If Beaugrand can run back up to 12 seconds, then suddenly we're going to have a very close start to the pursuit. Whereas, like a lot of these people down the back, you can see that they're 20, 30 seconds behind. Well, you've got to add that to what happened in stage 1, and then suddenly they're going to start 70 seconds behind, which is going to make things very difficult. I can tell you that the short shoot for the Sharks has been awarded to Beth Potter, which Sophie Caldwell will probably feel a little bit hard done by when it comes to Michelle Dillon. Might say, hey, do you not see the effort I'm putting in here?
Oh, wow. I would have given it to Caldwell.
I would have given it to
Caldwell.
Me too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
my
Beth
goodness.
Potter can back a run anyway.
Yeah.
And Sophie's done a lot of work. She earned it, and she can put herself right up the mix. But that's what managers do. They make these decisions.
I'd be like, if I was Michelle Dillon, I'm like, who am I more afraid of?
Who's my favourite athlete?
Who do I want to not upset more? And that gap has actually narrowed somewhat, I think, now between this pair working together and Caldwell, who worked very hard in the first 2 laps, but potentially has started to come off the gas a little bit.
Lombardi's benefited the most because
Yeah, she
Beaugrand has not got off the front of that bike. She's committed. That's what Katie Zafiris always does.
She looks like the Katie Zafiris.
Yeah, she really does.
This is an athlete that won in 2017, 18 and 19.
Yeah.
A 2 times winner of the Super League Triathlon Series. And this girl means business. Every race she's getting stronger and stronger, and she's pulled back that deficit now, as we can see as they come into T2.
Okay, T2, the 5th transition of the day. No, 4th transition of the day. There's a lot going on. And at the moment, Caldwell looks like she's had a slick one. She will get out onto the run. No short shoots left to win, obviously, but just time to put in to the chasing pack. Zafiris and Lombardi. Now, Lombardi is the one who, out of these 3, is, I suppose, what you would call the clubhouse leader at the moment because she put time into the other 2 in front of her in the first stage. So Lombardi is essentially your current leader. Lahair is in good position as well. Woff is not in the reckoning at this point. Nor is Casper, and Potter is well back on this stage.
And Periol, this is critical for the eliminations. Remember, the back three are eliminated and the 90-second rule's in play, so...
Let's go down now to Michelle Dillon and find out why she made that decision about Beth Potter.
Why Potter and not Coldwell for the short shoot?
Beth Potter, what, sorry?
Tell us about the decision for that short shoot.
Yeah, look, Beth, the short shoot, so... You know, I feel like we needed to give it to her, and she's also a little bit further back at the moment, so I just decided that, you know, we want her, we want to try and get two girls on the podium, and at the moment Sophie's looking really strong. So we give it to Beth in hope that, you know, come the last race that, you know, she's going to have to use that, which she's going to need it, basically, and hopefully use it. So that's why I gave it to her.
Thank you.
There is Beth Potter amongst a group of Scorpions. Beaugrand as well, so they're stuck together. Woff, Van der Kay, Casper, and Alice Beto on the back. And they're all chasing down Kathia Shah, who's had a strong race. And there you can see the short shoot for the Scorpions has gone to Cassandra Beaugrand. And another French short shoot for the Eagles. Tim Don's given it to Emma Lombardi. No surprises with either of those.
Yeah, Katia Shah. She's really having a great
race. She had a great series last year, and she's really, this is her first race of the series this year, and looking strong across all three disciplines.
She was disappointed with that fourth in the Under-23 World Championships that she raced in Pontevedra. I think she's trying to make amends for that.
Lombardi still sitting on the shoulder of Zefiris, where she's been. Oh, maybe she's listening to me. She's taken to the front now, as she's been for the last 10 or 12 minutes. And there's not much between them of these three. And Lombardi, if she can run the way back up, she will start very close to Jean Lahair at the front of stage 3. And having that clear run in the water is probably pretty useful as a whole pack chases down Beaugrand and Potter, and they try to limit their losses.
5.9 seconds now. Lahair's already pulled back some time. She's absolutely flying now.
She really is a fantastic runner. We saw that she ran away from the field in London, and we would have seen it in Toulouse, where she lives now, despite racing for Luxembourg.
So Beaugrand sitting 15 seconds back. So Sophie Coldwell's got to work this last 800 metres on the run hard, because she needs that buffer going out onto the last leg.
Well, Rappaport has completely blown the doors off and now is back at 14. So she was up the front out of the swim again and has lost 33 seconds on the pace of these leaders. And you'd think just about Lahair could run up to this group, potentially, and Lombardi. So Tim Don will be very happy as Eagles manager. He'll probably have the first two into the water in stage 3. Unless Beaugrand or Potter can have an absolutely spectacular run. At the moment, they're still 14 seconds in arrears. It's hard on the legs too, these tight corners. Like, there's multiple hairpin turns.
Those accelerations, the deceleration and the acceleration out, it burns, and you don't really feel it until stage 3, when the fatigue really sets in and those runs start to blow apart. You're seeing the fatigue now at the back of the field with the women. But these three on front are looking remarkable.
There's a slightly longer gap too between stage 2 and 3, just enough for you to kind of come off a bit
and think
it's
about
like
it.
6 minutes, and you're like, oh, I don't want to do this again.
Well, look at Lahair. She's pulling something back, but it's good to see that Lombardi's on the front, and she's just started to pick up the pace just a little bit, I think. Sophie Coldwell tucking in there, perhaps getting a bit of a buffer from the wind.
Beaugrand behind, Lahair really pushing, and Beth Potter benefited from that. She sat off the shoulder for this entire run.
Lombardi's had a smart race, though, in this second stage, and there's another one of those dead turns, and Coldwell will be happy with being able to stay at the front of this one, although she did, she had a little gap, but she hasn't given away too much. It was 12 seconds in the first one, and Coldwell's always seems to be an athlete who gets better across the stages.
Yeah.
A little bit like Beaugrand probably does the same thing, but for different reasons.
Yeah, Sophie Coldwell tends to sort of warm into it, doesn't she? Some athletes need a bit more of a build-up. Look at Lahair. She's hardly breathing. The leg turnover is super fast. She's such a lovely runner to watch.
Well, they're going to turn and come across the line. As you can see, Tim Don, Nick Chase, and Michelle Dillon setting up the bikes again for their athletes. But this time, Lombardi Looks like she's going to be the first one in the water in stage 3. We'll get a confirmation of the times. Caldwell and Zafiris. Good to see Zafiris back at the front of races. And rocketing across the line is Jean Leher. And these two have been stuck together all years, and this time it's Potter who gets the mental victory over Beaugrand. And then a bit of a gap back to the chasing pack. Woff, Van der Kay, Beto, Casper, and then Shah, who's been in no woman's land, I suppose you'd call it, over the course of the run. 20 seconds across them, and then the big gaps start coming. Perio, I mean, Mackie, you probably be slightly disappointed with what Leonie Perrio's put out.
Look, to be honest, she was really nervous about the swim. You know, these surf swims are just something they're not used to, and that moving water, she's not really renowned as a strong swimmer. She was definitely concerned, and I can see it in her face. She sees that fear, and she's still in it. There's three eliminations. I hope she's run herself into stopping. So, oh, here's the elimination. Fanny.
Well, Fanny Zelaya, the youngest athlete, she gets eliminated in 15th position, where she finished in London as well. And these two racing for absolutely nothing, crossing the line too.
Sophie Caldwell, a great second stage.
I tell you who's good to see back as well, Kirsten Casper.
Yes.
Was on the podium in 2018 3 times, was struck down with some injuries. So good to see her back sort of towards the front of the field.
All right, we're going to head down now to the black carpet.
What a stage 2 for you. It's so unpredictable out there, but you're playing it to perfection so far.
Yeah, I mean, the swim's obviously the most unpredictable bit, so yeah, if you kind of get a good wave, you just need to roll with it. And yeah, I'm obviously not the quickest runner, so just got to kind of make some time up where I can.
What's the biggest thing you think about now before the final stage?
Full gas again.
We'll let you focus. Thank you so much.
Super League's not complicated, is it?
Not
just
complicated.
Full gas from the gun.
Absolutely.
That's all we do.
But all smiles. She looks really relaxed and chilled. And
yeah, and that is important. The provisional deficits at the moment, we think Lombardi 3 seconds ahead of Leher with a further 4 seconds back to Beaugrand, and then Potter and Caldwell and Zafiris all within 12 seconds. There is the results, or there is the actually, there they are.
Start.
So they are the confirmed deficits. There's a big gap between 6 and 7. Zafiris 12 seconds back, Casper 28 seconds back. So there's going to be nothing for 14 seconds. So it's almost a race in 6 at this point as the Scorpions, led by Beaugrand, head back down, and we'll look back at the stage. And there were 17 women who kicked things off. And again, didn't the water play a part? It looked like right-hand side was the place to be. Lombardi and Beaugrand were strong in the swim, and then this time, instead of helping the back markers come up, the waves helped the front of the race extend their leads, and it was Caldwell who was the first out on the bike from Rappaport. That was basically where her race started to go a little bit awry, ended up finishing about 40 seconds back. Lombardi hitched a ride with Katie Zafiris as they both tried to chase down the Brit Caldwell, who has had a great year by anyone's estimations. Finished 7th last week, but also picked up a first WTCS win this year. And she led the run out. Zafiris and Lombardi chased her down, and it was a race in 3 with Jean Leher looking to minimise the gaps for the stage 3 pursuit start. Lombardi crossed the line first. Leher rocketed across the line too. And there were 3 eliminations at the back, including the 15-year-old Fanny Zelaya. And here is the confirmed, well, the pursuit start gaps, and it actually looks like Leher, no, well, that's incorrect with Fanny Zelaya there amongst it, so we will disregard whatever that is and move on from that, and I think it is in fact Lombardi 3 seconds ahead of Leher with Beaugrand, Potter, Caldwell and Zafiris, so apologies for that.
Yeah, interestingly, the Beaugrand Potter war in the swim. It's a 1 second apart on the start. Beaugrand, naturally the stronger swimmer. That gap could mean everything to her coming out of this water.
Well, if you were Potter, you'd be thinking, where is that red suit? Stay with that as much as possible. And can Cassandra Beaugrand and Beth Potter chase down Lombardi and co at the front? So there's a minute still. And Michael Thompson, our race director on the left, he'll be the one letting them go. Everyone wants to look at the magical iPad and find out how far back they in fact are and what order they're going to be in. But 2 Eagles at the front.
And they're both strong swimmers, very, very strong swimmers. They'll be comfortable having the water to themselves, comfortable getting that straight line. And I think Lombardi will be very, very hard to pass in this water.
Tim Ford, the Scorpions assistant manager, just having a little chat into the ear of Cassandra Beaugrand.
Goes quick, that 6 minutes, doesn't it?
Was it 6 minutes? That can't be right.
It was 6 minutes.
Really?
4 for the first stages.
Oh, man. Wow. We're just sitting here eating lollies. We didn't even do a triathlon, let alone 2 triathlons. All right, 300 metres, 3.6 Ks, 1.6 kilometres, and a winner here in Malibu. And we start in 5 seconds. Tomo's going to let him go. And off goes Lombardi. 3 seconds gap. We wait for Lahair. Then it's Beaugrand and Potter. Can they run the eagle pairing down? That's the question. Colwell forced to wait.
Ooh.
And into the front and into some decent waves goes the 2 eagles. And isn't it just a horrible wait? I say this every time, but a pursuit start, and there is the confirmed times. And you look back at the gap between Katie Zafiris in 6th and her Warriors teammate Kirsten Kasper is 16 seconds.
They've gone wide,
they went
haven't
wide.
they?
You saw Beth Potter try and jump on the hip of Cassandra Beaugrand, and that wave pushed her back to the feet. That could be a deciding wave.
Van der Kay off. Perriot, who's seeing it slip away. Rappaport as well, and Ackerland. Long wait for Perriot. Meanwhile, out in the water, there is it's like a flying V out there. And Beaugrand's gone right again. Everyone else has gone on the left.
Lombardi on the left, who's a great swimmer, but it's going to have to come back around. Beth Potter opting to go across to the feet of the group, safety in numbers.
We'll head down now to the black carpet to Rebecca Charlton with Michelle Dillon.
Michelle, have you had an opportunity to communicate a little bit more in, I'm going to say breaks, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, look, I mean, what we didn't realise was after stage 1, Sophie actually vomited twice after the finish, and I was worried about her, thinking, can she carry on? And then all of a sudden, she's leading out the swim and she's leading off the bike, and I was like, okay, she's okay, because she's so mentally strong. But, you know, with this race, anything can happen, and I just had little words to my girls and said, look, you just got to keep your head in the game, because so many scenarios can be thrown at you now, and if someone catches a wave, it could be you and you could be in front. Like, it literally is going to be so interesting to see what happens.
It's so intense. We love it. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Michelle's enjoying it. There was a huge yawn coming from the person in the back of the shot. She's not enjoying it as much, but Beaugrand's enjoying it too, though. She's started 4th and had a great swim, coming to 2nd. Just losing the feet of Lombardi, the 2 French women. Lahair's gone wide and taken everyone else with her.
Lombardi went under the rope, and the others have gone round it.
Yeah, and Beaugrand swam up onto Lombardi. It's a massive swim by Cassandra. She's gapped Lahair. The instruction was to try and distance herself from Potter, the better runner. And if she can hold these waves or catch a wave, it could open everything right up.
Well, see, that changes everything, doesn't it? When you look at 3 of these athletes in the top 6 have got a short shoot. You can see at the bottom left of your screen. Any one of these athletes can do the job. If Lombardi wins today, she will suddenly end up being our championship series leader. Colwell could do the same thing. Lahair could do the same thing as well. It really could change so much between now and 10 minutes' time.
Big gaps. Big gaps.
So I'm just
big wave area. Look at the swells coming through now.
Watching this. Yeah. Who's gone left? It's one of the sharks. It's really far left.
This is a huge wave. Right. This one's coming into the wave area, and Cassandra could pick this up.
But so could Lombardi and Cassandra, who
danger.
Both of them have missed it, and it looks like nothing's going to help anyone at this stage. It's going to be an honest swim. Everyone's, those athletes have taken a little bit to the left. They've got to come through the yellow buoy, so they can't. They're going to come out a little bit further down beach and have to run across a bit further. The chasing athletes, and Zafiris is the one who's missed that little group.
And Sophie, who had such a great finish to the last swim, is the one that has lost the wave completely and is not even out of the water yet, or just out of the water now.
Cassandra Beaugrand will be very, very happy here. She's got Lombardi, who she knows very well from training, a wheel that she needs to hold, knowing that the power bike riders are back there. Her only concern would be Beth Potter, who could match her on foot.
Yeah, but maybe not be able to cover an 11-second gap back, though. So Potter will be worried that Beaugrand can hop onto the back wheel, which she will do. She's going to run around the corner there, as opposed to Lombardi, who decides not to do that.
It's an error, that, isn't it, to try and ride round that bend. You've got to go around.
Lombardi's gone.
Doesn't matter, because she's gone.
I'll be quiet now. Oh, shut up.
It seemed like it. But maybe the advantage was negated by the fact that she had to run around the outside of him, mounting Lombardi anyway.
What does Lombardi do here? Does she try to go it alone? Because she's going to want to drop Cassandra, but that's going to be tough. Look at Cassandra, how much her biking skills have improved in the last 12 to 18 months.
She knows that wheel is everything. You lose that wheel, Cassandra, and you're going to drop back to that second group. So she has to fight.
For those who are just tuning into triathlon or are not haven't never done a drafting race, which are a lot of people, how much difference is it to be able to, with a wind like this, sit in behind?
Huge.
We'll go down to Tim Don first, then I want to answer that question because it is significant. We'll go down now to Tim Don, who is with Rebecca Charlton, and then we'll pick that up.
Tim Don, you said Malibu would provide the excitement. This is not disappointing, is it?
I forgot how fast it is. We've had such a break. I'm really happy for Emma and Jean. They're going to work well together on the bike. I gave the short shoot to Emma. Jean was a little bit upset, but we need to maximise our points here because those sharks are going to be hard to catch. We've still got a way to go.
They're both on fire, though, aren't they?
Yeah, they're really well. We've got good synergy now in the group. And, you know, Kathia Shah is riding like she owns this road. And I think she's going to ride right up there and go past all those other women as well.
Such a strong position for the Eagles. Thank you.
Tim Don there, Beau Grant in the box seat. Both these athletes have a short shoot. And Annie, we were just saying the drafting effect that obviously these two working together, like two athletes work together to catch Sophie Caldwell, who is a stronger biker, but they had two working together. Same thing happening here as they try to extend their lead on the chasing pack.
It's massive, you know, and if you know how to sit on the wheel, I mean, she's letting it go a bit here, a bit hard when you're going around the more technical parts of the course, but if you know how to sit on a wheel really close and you're fearless about it, you can save. I mean, I'm not going to put a number, but it's,
30 comfortably.
Yeah, it's got to be, yeah.
And actually two riders together travel faster than one if they're tucked in properly. So two can technically ride faster than one because of the aerodynamic. The drag coefficient numbers drop.
And that's a big gap now, isn't it? Back to the chasers. Emma Lombardi is making this look easy. They're here in seconds. They've picked up a lot more time now already on this first lap of the bike.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to say, as Zephyris drags these other two around, Potter's thinking, I don't think I've got the legs to catch maybe Beau Grant, who's probably in the box seat to take her first series win.
She has to hold Lombardi. Race. She has to hold Lombardi because the one thing we know is Zephyris will not get off the front.
No, you're right. Zephyris will try and pull them up. She's like a little Blumenfelty like that, or Hayden Wild style athlete who will attack. Lahair is seeing potentially the top of the podium slip away, and she, of course, doesn't have a short shoot, whereas Potter, Beau Grant and Lombardi do. Zephyris also missing out because the Warriors didn't earn one. And then it's a big gap back to Caldwell, who has fallen well back. Now 9 seconds. And then a further 6 back to Casper. And Kate Woff, who will probably lose her championship lead, will head down now to the Scorpions' assistant manager, Tim Ford.
How good is it to have Cassandra Beau Grant back in this form?
Absolutely. We wanted her to gut Beth on the swim, which she's done. We think she's going to maintain it. She's got the short shoot. We expect her to hold on. I think she's got this one.
So you must be pretty happy at this point.
Absolutely. Again, everything's going... we would have maybe liked a bit more of the points in the individuals, but I think Cassandra going for the overall now is going to be really good for us. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Tim, thank you.
Very happy, slightly smug-looking Tim Ford.
Replacing MG.
Replaces MG, who has had multiple coronaries in the last 2 rounds. We've seen it all. If you haven't seen it, make sure you catch up. And now Tim comes in and just gets the golden race. I can only imagine MG, who is sitting at home with his knee up, would be blowing up, but also be happy at the same time.
2 completely different characters.
Oh, yeah.
If you put the 2 together.
Couldn't be more different. Couldn't be more different. But anyway, Katie Zephyris leading this pack of 3 who are chasing potentially maybe the 3rd spot on the podium. There's still a lot to go yet. We're only on the 2nd lap of the bike. But these 3 are all starting... At one point, they're going to start to look at each other and go, OK,
yeah, you'd have to say...
on the podium and 3 of us.
Yeah, no, it's definitely out of these top 5s, barring any mishaps or anything like that. I'm just wondering what Lombardi's tactics are going to be. As she's trying to break Cassandra now. She knows the only way she's going to get the better of her on this course, because she's not going to run as quick as her. She's there or thereabouts, but a little bit slower than Beau Grant, and she's very sensibly just trying to make a bit of a break now, so at least she gets a bit of clear space coming into transition. It's that psychological game you get when you're out in front as well.
Looking at the run splits from the previous 2 stages, Cassandra Beau Grant is the fastest out there, running a 3:07 pace, if you don't mind, 4:58. And then Lombardi, 5:02 was her best pace, so 3:09. So there's not that much between them, but Beaugrand has the edge. And in fact, Potter doesn't have any of the top 5 run splits of the day.
Interesting.
Lahair also doesn't. In fact, it's Perriot and Miller who also round out the top 5. So, but Lahair ran away from everyone in London. She could run away from the other two she's with, Zafiris and Potter, but Potter is obviously the world champion for a reason.
Yeah.
And 13 seconds, that's another second in this lap, in the latest split. It's probably too much to run up to on Cassandra Beaugrand. Nobody runs 13 seconds up on Cassandra Beaugrand.
It's not happening. They're fighting for the podium back there, and it's got a tough call between Potter and Lahair, I think, and Zafiris. So we don't talk about Katie enough. She was a 2-time winner of this series. An amazing athlete, and this is the best.
Oh, somebody's down. One of the Warriors, and she looks hurt too. And Summer Rappaport. And she's come down at the bottom point where we've been talking about it constantly.
Coming
That's
off that
the
wet
spot.
carpet. Off that wet carpet onto the concrete.
That is the spot, and she's sitting up, which is good news.
But that's a shame for Rappaport. I mean, she's nervous enough on the bike without coming down, and she's come down hard here.
Checking that collarbone.
She's got blood on her mouth, and it looks like, it could be a collarbone.
No, it's okay. I thought
no, she's not. She's putting her arms like that. She's all right.
Oh, that's a
Rattled,
tough
though.
day. That's a tough day.
All right, Rappaport out. Perriot also could get eliminated before this is over, as something's happened to the carpet top of screen, so some quick repair work being done as they head into transition. Let's pick it up again. Lombardi and Beaugrand. It's basically a running race now, 2 laps for the win in this one, and Beaugrand didn't have the greatest transition there. Still should be confident that she could run Lombardi down. Lombardi coming off a podium in her debut race. Lahair and Potter together, and Zafiris rounding out the top 5. Absolutely nothing but clear space behind them.
Well, that was interesting tactics from Michelle in the end, wasn't it? Because that short shoot for Potter, I think, is going to pay off.
Yeah, suddenly she was proven right, and we were wrong again.
Again.
As that tiny gap between the two of them is gone, and we're going to see what happened here, and down off the carpet and straight on the face, and Perriot forced to do a little bit of evasive action, but that did not look good at all. As at the front of your race now is the 2 French women, Cassandra Beaugrand, already a race winner here and a contender always in Super League Triathlon racing, and Emma Lombardi, who comes in a debut year. And we're going to go hear from Nick Chase about Summer Rappaport. Check in, she is okay. He's the team manager for the RTS Warriors.
Nick, firstly, how's Summer Rappaport doing? We never want to see a crash like that.
Summer, unfortunately, did take a bit of a spill, and they responded so fast, it was crazy. I cannot commend the medical staff and everyone going to her rescue. So terrible, tragic, but that's what happens in this course. You're sending it so hard, you're so fatigued. This format just rips these girls apart. So we're hoping she's going to recover really fast, but of course, we're still in the game.
Thank you, Nick.
Look at that gap. There's our cameraman as well as doing great yards with that camera, bottom of screen, but not as good as Cassandra Beaugrand, who has almost put this one to bed in the opening run lap. She has sent a message to Emma Lombardi, to the French Olympic selectors, and to everybody else that she is always a force in short course racing. Potter and Lahair are going stride for stride with our cameraman again. Oh, he's on fire today. At the top of the course, and it looks like could be a French 1-2-3, although Lombardi does, Lahair now races for Luxembourg.
So look what's happening behind here. This doesn't surprise me because Emma Lombardi has lost the shoulder of Cassandra Beaugrand and she's losing time. And Jan Lahair is absolutely running out of her skin here. She's not giving up. She's not settling for third. She's broken Potter, but now she's after Lombardi.
It's a tough woman to get into a battle with, Lahair v Potter.
I think
Beth
that
Potter would be
Lahair,
nervous. Lahair's just tough. She just doesn't give up an inch.
I think, and I might be wrong, but I think that Lahair, if Lahair finishes third, she's going to be our championship leader going in to Neon.
Okay.
Because Potter had 12 points, Lahair had the full 15 from winning in London, and if she takes 13, she'll be on 28 overall. Beaugrand doesn't figure because she hasn't had another race. And the other factor is Lombardi, who's on 13, so she'll be 13 plus 14, which is 27 for Lombardi, 28 for Lahair. So it'll be those two in the lead, depending on... I don't know. That's as far as I can go.
Okay.
I don't know how you're doing
You sounded smart then,
yeah,
Will.
Okay.
sounded
Oh, yeah, I shouldn't have said anything else. It's just full stop.
Yeah.
That's it, right?
So what-
Lahair will be your championship leader if she indeed finishes third.
Watch her come
Lombardi will
through,
be
though.
second.
She's gonna catch Lombardi. Remember that finish in London?
Yes.
It was absolutely phenomenal. She's got a last 400 metres quicker than anyone else. I'd love to see the splits.
Cassandra looking magnificent on screen, very relaxed. This is the third run through. Got the gate roping up really, really well. Her relaxed arm carriage.
She
knows
always
she's in
looks
control.
relaxed,
She does.
doesn't she?
And she builds the confidence, as you said earlier. I think having got through that first stage, being right there, now in the box seat to win it.
You know what's funny? Like, she's a confidence athlete. I think that she's lost races in this format at least because it does... It tests your confidence, Super League Triathlon, in a way that maybe a limited distance racing doesn't, because you don't have any chances to have a bit of a mistake in transition, make it up because you've got more time. But she has always kind of been, I think, worried about everything.
Yes.
Whereas yesterday, she was like, she said to me, she got out of the swim familiarization, she's like, Will, I caught 2 waves. And I'm like, oh, that's great. She goes, I tried to catch 20. But I caught 2, and that's good. Whereas otherwise, the old Cassandra would have been like, I missed 18 waves. You know, so there is a certain confidence to Cassandra Beaugrand that we haven't seen before.
And it's a set and forget. You know, you get the if you have a good first race, as she did, she's able to set herself up and say, okay, things are going well.
Here we go, though. She's coming into the finishing chute. Cassandra Beaugrand comes in, points to the Bahrain Victorious logo, and says, here I am, I've done it one more time. Beaugrand runs away, just as she did in London last year. She comes back in Malibu this year and wins it. And it's a French 1-2 with Emma Lombardi adding a second to her third. And Jean Lahair crossing as your new championship leader. Beth Potter finishes in 4th overall. She's put everything into it. And Katie Zafiris follows up an 8th position with a Warriors top spot on home soil and continues her comeback to the top echelons of Super League Triathlon racing. 25 seconds across the top 5, and the cream really rising to the top in this one. Beaugrand launching the Scorpions into the points, but plenty of points as well for Lombardi and Lahair and the Eagles. But Jean Lahair will be your championship leader on 28 points from Lombardi 27, Kate Woff. I think probably finishing with 26 points overall. And not adding to her total, Potter and Caldwell.
Nice finish from Beto.
Yes.
Had a
best
baby
finish.
10 months ago. Like, you don't want to keep going on about it, but I just find that absolutely amazing. So Alicia Beto from Italy finishing 8th place.
Shah.
Yeah, and Kathy Shah rounding out the top 10. So Beto, Kasper and Shah, and we'll go down to our race winner, Cassandra Beaugrand.
Huge congratulations. You looked so composed when you crossed that finish line. You had a bit of time to enjoy that.
Yeah, I was not expecting that at the start of the race. I was feeling so bad, like I was a bit sick in the waves. I'm not used to swimming the waves, so it was quite choppy, and yeah, I'm seasick. So yeah, I struggled a bit at the beginning, and then I tried to stay focused on the last one, and I took a good waves, and it's bringing me at the front of the race after that. So. The last round was okay, but I was struggling in the technical part on the bike, so every time I couldn't roll with Emma because I was already trying to catch my gap after every corner. So yeah, a good work today. I'm very happy to bring the win for the Scorpion because we need points. So yeah, I'm very happy to join the team back.
Once again, congratulations. It was stunning to watch.
Thanks.
What an unpredictable race. How was it out there?
Yeah, it was amazing. At the beginning of the first stage, I was feeling really well, and the second went well as well. So yeah, it was a good day overall.
How do you keep a calm head when it is so hectic?
Yeah, I was just focused on what I had to do, going step by step, and yeah, just racing and yeah, have fun.
Well, it looked like fun. It was brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What a race. You had so much disappointment last round out. That was brilliant today.
Yeah, for sure. I was like, maybe a bit of revenge today. And yeah, on 2 finish race, I did 2 podiums, so it's pretty good. I was a bit frustrated that team didn't give me the short shoot, because maybe probably I could have finished second, and I won it. So I was last year I won 2 and I never get it. So this year I was, finally I will. No, but maybe no.
You're in such a strong position. Well done.
3 athletes who have grown up in a French system at the front of this race, and there was those 3 who were out the front at the start of stage 3 in the pursuit. The 2 Eagles of Lahire and Lombardi, and in between them right there, Cassandra Beaugrand. It was Lombardi who came out of the swim first, but Cassandra Beaugrand knew she had to have a good transition and keep the wheel of the young Frenchwoman, and she did exactly that for the entire bike leg, and these 2 managed to put plenty of time into the chasing pack, and that's when Beaugrand knew that she had it in the bag. Unfortunately for Summer Rappaport right there, it was a very big spill, but we're assured that she is okay, and thank you to the medical staff for that. And then, first lap of the run, Beaugrand put down the hammer and she held on for another win to add to her Super League Triathlon resume, and the chapter of Cassandra Beaugrand in this level of racing continues.
I am jumping in for this simply beautiful moment. I loved the high five when you came down the finishing straight.
Oh, it's so nice to see him at the finish or after the finish, and it just, I mean, it's just so special doing it with him. And like I was saying before, I'm not sure if I was going to keep going, so these moments are really special to me.
You were so strong out there today.
Thank you. Yeah, you know, I feel like early of the last race didn't go as well, and I thought it was going to go better than it did. So to be able to execute relatively well today and have a strong race, I'm really proud of today.
You should be so proud. I love that I'm about to give up my microphone here. Oh, thank you. You are after my job. You're absolutely brilliant. Now, and final word, how were the waves to navigate?
You know, I actually prefer this, so this was good for me. I love the ocean, and I think I actually did better with the waves than I did with the swimming part of it. So for me, it was a good thing.
Congratulations, thank you, and thank you.
Oh, you're going to give it back now? Say, oh, no.
Give me the giant black ice cream immediately, is what Kimball has to say. In the end, after the eliminator, Cassandra Beaugrand on top by 8 seconds over the Eagles of Lombardi and Lahire. That is your podium. Potter and Zafiris, the top 5. Caldwell and War after that. 11, 12 and 13. That was all that was left in this race. Van der Kay, Perriot had a difficult one, and also Erica Ackerland in 13th overall. There is so much still to come. The men's racing very soon after this. A podium in Toulouse for Henry Schoeman, and he will be looking for something else again, as will Hayden Weil in Toulouse. Plenty of fire from that one after making a mistake and dropping from 1st to 4th. Roberto Sanchez for the Scorpions as well, finishing 4th and 10th, and Taylor Reid, a podium and a crash. Anything can happen with the big Kiwi. From the Sharks, Jonathan Brownlee, the most successful Olympic triathlete in history. 1, 2 and 3, 2 seconds overall. Dixon, well, he's had a 3rd overall but hasn't taken a single podium. Alex Yee, well, he's won a race and he's missed a race. So if he wants to go top heading into Neom, he'll need another big one, but Christian Blumenfeld will have something to say about that, as will Matt Hauser. He had a crash here last year. He wants redemption. Leo Berger, well, a little controversy around his win in Toulouse in front of his home fans, and he'll want to stamp his authority as well ahead of the Neom race in 3 weeks' time. The Americans will be hoping for something, and Chase McQueen will be the man to lead that, as will the young gun, Carter Stuhlmacher. So, a beautiful day now. It was absolutely tipping it down here in Malibu this morning, but now look at that. Absolutely beautiful Californian coast with Pacific Highway 1 heading right down, and we're about to head down to the medal presentations and hand out these beautiful Malibu medals to our women's podium
race.
getters.
Please welcome the medalists. The medals in champagne will be presented by Leonid Boguslavsky, Chairman Super League Triathlon. In third place from Luxembourg, representing the Santara Tech Eagles, John Leher.
A popular podium getter, Jean Leher. She really lit it up in London, and I think a lot of people thought she was quite hard done by in Toulouse, so good to see her back on the podium again.
Eagles, Emma Lombardi.
Lombardi steps up a place on the podium after finishing third last time out, and this time second, so only one place to go for the young Frenchwoman.
Place in your 2023 Super League Triathlon Championship Series Malibu winner from France. Representing Bahrain Victorious Scorpions, Cassandra Beaugrand.
One of the class athletes over the past few years in Super League racing, Cassandra Beaugrand, another product of an incredible French system of short course superstars. And
ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for your Championship Series Malibu
in stature and a threat, a real threat to the competition. Not figuring in the overall, as it's her first race this year, but very good at the champagne spray as well. So 2 Eagles and a Scorpion atop the podium, and plenty of shifting as well in the points leaderboard we're going to see in just a second, but soaking up the efforts of these women who Lombardi called it fun. Doesn't look like my idea of fun, Annie Emerson, at all.
Oh, I don't know. I think it looks like a lot of fun. I'm just glad I'm not there racing. I like to watch it, though.
I agree. I like to watch it. Let's have a look at the team leaderboard as the wind continues to pick up and plenty of chop as well. The Sharks on top still, but with every race, their lead is being eroded. The Eagles now outshine the Scorpions, moving into second by 3 points. So that is right on those two. Of course, they swept the whole podium. And then the Warriors, well, they picked up a decent haul of points, but they are firmly in 4th position overall, and they will need their men to really step up into this second race. And we are going to have a look right now at what the men's race will bring. And we've got to set the scene first as we can see that beautiful aerial shot. This is the leaderboard as it stands. Johnny Brownlee has picked up 2 second places, so he needs a win if he is going to improve his position overall. Henry Schumann, well, he needs a 5th or better to improve his position. And Dan Dixon has got some room to improve as well. But look for Leo Berger, Alex Yee, who are both on a 0, so they will jump up high in the championship standings with a decent result here.
Coming into Malibu, we are on home turf. We have an all-American team, and of course, we're underrated, but we are fired up because of that. My name is Nicholas Chase. I am the team manager of the RTS Warriors this year. Real Triathlon Squad is about development. The 2028 Olympics is on our radar in a big way. This team was formed to try to pool resources and do more and give these athletes a chance. That's why we saw this partnership with Project Podium as being incredibly valuable.
The mission with Project Podium is very much the mission of RTS. We want to look at the holistic approach to the athlete. This has been a long-term project and something we started in 2018 with the goal of having someone 10 years later on a podium.
When I was a junior, I grew up and I was recruited by Project Podium, one of the first guys in that program. A lot of my development happened on that team, and I was 5 years ago, 6 years ago in the same role as Reese and Carter and Luke. Yeah, what an opportunity for them to be able to come here and compete with some of the best guys in the world.
I never thought I'd be on the start line with Johnny Brownlee, Christian Blumenfeld, Alex Yee. Just to be here racing with them is crazy.
Things are headed in a great direction when it comes to USA Triathlon. We're fortunate that we're able to make Super League a part of it.
Look at what Super League churns out. It churns out the sharpest talent ever.
We have a Warriors team that's completely American. If we could compete against the British teams and the international teams in Bahrain, obviously that proves that that program is working. So we're hoping that we can kind of merge Olympic success, but also Super League success.
We love Malibu. They're coming out strong to support us, so we want to give them a good show. Our team is ready. They know what they have to do, and we are going to show you what we're made of on race day.
Well, the Warriors need that, and they need Chase McQueen to lead from the front in this one. Also coming in, Ben Canute with plenty of experience, and Morgan Pearson, who is a fantastic runner and a great all-round triathlete, was leading last week in Pontevedra for parts of that run. Hayden Wilde comes back into Scorpions alongside Taylor Reid, the two Kiwis there with Henry Schoeman, Alex Yee, Johnny Brownlee. Look for them in the Sharks. Christian Blumenfeld. Vasco Vilasa as well comes back in after fighting with a seal last time out in Malibu. And Matt Hauser is there as well. But it is time now to welcome our male athletes out onto the black carpet for the second half of our racing here in Malibu, round 3 of Super League Triathlon. And we start with the Scorpions. Taylor Reid, in his 3rd season in Super League Triathlon, picked up a podium in London and then crashed out in Toulouse. Shachar Sagiv from Israel, one of only 3 Israelis to complete in the Olympics. Roberto Sanchez, 4th and 10th overall. He's got a big run as well. We hope to see that. The Ukrainian Vitaly Vorontsov, hoping to put the Ukraine back on the Olympic start line. Henry Schoeman, a podium last time out, continuing his comeback. And Hayden Wilde, the Falcon, last year's champion.
You've popped one champagne cork already today. What about the men, though?
Well, as we've seen in that last race, anything can happen with these swim conditions. The boys are confident, they're ready to race, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out.
We can't wait. Good luck.
Cheers.
Scorpions with a strong team, but the Sharks with a strong team as well. Chris Parham, who won the teams out last year for a Bahrain victorious. Quick to do the little shark symbol on the way out. Plenty of SLT experience. The Big Easy, Max Stapley, who had a great race in London, finishing 5th. Not so good in Toulouse. Dan Dixon, who is one of the future stars, and Alex Yee, who is definitely one of the current stars, the 2-time Olympic medalist. And the 3-time Olympic medalist, Johnny Brownlee, rounds out this superstar British team. Let's hear from Michelle.
What can you tell us, Michelle, about these Sharks?
They are super strong. They just told it for you. They just said they're going to win, so fingers crossed.
Fighting talk, love it. Thank you, Michelle.
Right, she wants used to winning. There's Michelle Dillon, didn't take it in the women's. And there is the Olympic champion, the world champion, the Ironman world champion, Christian Blumenfeld from Norway. Always so strong. Vasco Vilasa comes back into the series for the first time. He heads out. He's in for Kenji Nina, who actually became Asian champion yesterday, which is fantastic for him. Emil Holm and Matt Hauser, the Aussie who crashed out here while in the lead last year. Finally, the 2022 world champion, Leo Berger. Only the best for the Eagles.
Tim, Don, is this going to match the drama and excitement of the women's race?
I think it's definitely going to match that drama. What a race. You know, the guys are really up for it. They took a lot of energy from that, but they learnt a lot. The women were telling them about the swim, things that happened in it, on the bike, a few corners that were different from training. So it's going to be a good race.
Good luck.
Let's go for the RTS Warriors.
And finally, the RTS Warriors, the 18-year-old who comes in for Seth Ryder, Carter Stuhlmacher, the youngest out there along with Reese Madison. There is Morgan Pearson, whose debut in Super League Triathlon racing. Ben Canute, not so for him. He has been around the traps for a long time, finishing 4th overall in the series twice. Reese Madison, 18 years of age, our run leader, and Chase McQueen, who in some ways is our team leader, now 9th in London and won the Super League Triathlon Arena Games in Montreal. We'll head down now to Nick Chase, who'll be hoping to hit back.
What can we expect from these All-Americans?
Well, you just saw what they're made of. They are 100% purebred American, and they're hungry for it, and we're going to really show up today on the men's race.
Nick, we can't wait to see it. Thank you so much. We'll let you go and focus. Well, we've met all of our team lineups. Now, let us know your predictions by simply scanning the QR code.
This is our provisional leaderboard for the overall. As we said, Lahare, Lombardi, 1 point back. Woff, 1 point back. 2 points to Potter and Caldwell. And then Livia Matthias, who didn't race in this race. Zefiris has bumped herself up to 7th from outside of the top 10, whereas Leonie Perriot has dropped down considerably to 9th, as has Fulliger, who was 3rd and now is 10th. So that is the way it is set heading into Neom, with Lahare, Lombardi and Woff right there, and in a shootout basically for the overall in 3 weeks' time. That is fantastic. And look at those Brits, 3rd through 6th. Annie, you'd be happy with that.
course I am, Will.
Of course you are. Of course you are. And now we turn our attention to this. Now, what you'll notice is that they're not all in team order anymore. Macca, a change there, and had to be a bit more strategic about pontoon spots.
Yeah, it was just difficult in the past rounds with the pontoon draw being so important, with the entire team being punished if you got a bad pontoon draw. So the Athletes Commission and the management sat down and decided to spread it out, which is what's happened here.
And that's what we've seen. So Macca Scorpions all the way across, as is everybody else, and we race here in Malibu. And the sprint into the water. There goes Dixon and Berger either side of your screen. Don't worry, that orange shirt down the back, that was Nick Chase running out Baywatch style as they do a few dolphin dives into the water.
Nice dolphin dive by Henry Schumann there in the red on that right side. And both Matty Hauser and Taylor Reid, that's Matt Hauser at the top of the screen in the white Centara Tech kit. Taylor Reid's come across instantly. He was on the outside of Matt Hauser, knowing that inside line to the boy from the women's race, as Matt tacks across, was the quicker line.
Gee, Matt Hauser looks good in the water, in the surf. He's just got a relaxed style. And he's coming across to try and tack on to the back of Henry Schumann, who's had a great start. At the bottom of your screen, I think that's the big long arms of the big easy Max Stapley in the blue. And is that Chase McQueen in the orange at the bottom? Those two had quite the battle for the swim supremacy in the 2022 series.
You can see the opportunity they get when they stand on the right-hand side facing out to the sea. It's a lot bigger because Matt Hauser, would expect him to be in front by now, but he's just had to work a little bit hard to kind of pull himself round to the front of this group.
It's good to see Henry Schumann back on the front of swims again. He's had a tough year. He's come through the series, he come through Arena Games, and you know, he said to us today going into the athletes meeting with the Scorpions, I'm going to go after some swim points, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Isn't it? He's such a confidence athlete. It's been 2 years where he had a broken ankle at Tokyo Olympics. He had to pull out the race. Then he comes back, takes him 6 or 8 months, and then the week before Super League 2022, he's going to make his comeback, and he comes off on a roundabout and busts his elbow. Yeah. Of course, also being in South Africa during the entire COVID period where they were basically red flagged as a nation. You couldn't get in or out. And now he wins Arena Games. He wins the World Champs. He was on the front in Pontevedra before he fell back a bit in the run, and now he's leading that again. So it's fantastic to see, absolutely no doubt. It's really strung out, though, in this swim, no?
He really has. That's going around that second swim buoy really got congested. You saw Hauser and Reid get pushed further back. A couple of the sharks were the benefactors there with Stapley. I didn't see who that was, probably Johnny Brownlee.
Yeah, this is a difficult swim, isn't it?
It really is.
And I think, as Severius pointed out, I mean, it looks slightly calmer, perhaps, from the women's race, but they're like mountains when your head's in the water. When we're looking down like this, and here we can see now, big wave coming in. And
he's got it.
Wow, nice work there from Schumann.
Well, Schumann looks like he could have a short shoot off the back of that. He looks back, realises no one else has got it, but here comes another wave. But they haven't caught it all the way in, and in fact there's another Scorpion at the bottom who's done the best with that one. I'm not sure who that is, actually. Could be Shachar Sagiv, actually. Looks like him as he runs out the water. Hard to see, but Schumann is at the front, and he's going to cross over. No, it's Reid. Looks like the loping run of Taylor Reid, and a couple of...
bombed.
See, Hauser got overtaken by 3 or 4 people there in the run coming out of that, so Matt Hauser's gotten deep in that one. Henry Schumann leading by a mile, and Stapley and Chris Perham's had a good swim.
Nice swim from Chris Perham.
And Carter Stuhlmacher is there, and Matt Hauser does not look like he's having a good time. So I'm not sure what happened there, but he had a very tough swim. Very easy transition there, and a short shoot from Henry Schumann.
Fantastic Henry Schumann. He's going to love being out in front too, Henry. He didn't like being in the groups and training over the session yesterday. He was worried about getting crashes and getting caught up. The fact that he's got that open line, open road ahead of him, he can set his own pace, he'll really enjoy that.
Championship protagonists there, Johnny Brownlee and Hayden Wild are a fair way back. Alex Yee, 18.9 seconds back. Vasco Velasa, not a championship contender. Christian Blumenfeld is second last from Reese Vanassen, who is the fastest runner in the field. But at the moment, it's 2 Scorpions on the front. And again, MG will be blowing up because he's not here. Now 3 Scorpions at the pointy end. Tim Ford, the good luck charm. Matt Hauser sits in 3rd position. And it's a long string of athletes. A couple of warriors. There is Johnny Brownlee all on his own. Emil Holm is there as well. Ben Canute head down. And the other Scorpions at the back. And Christian Blumenfeld's having trouble still getting into his shoes.
Wouldn't that be interesting? Christian Blumenfeld with Sanchez and and Valasa and Wild, both just in front of him by 3 seconds. If they see and sniff him off the back and can put him out and eliminate him in round 1, stage 1, wouldn't that be a one for the...
Wow.
That'd be amazing, the Olympic champion
So,
out.
to give you I think I'm jumping on top of you here, Annie, but I just was told, because I don't know this off the top of my head, that Aaron Royal was the previous swim record holder with 3:17, and Schoeman just swam a 3:03. Wow.
And he made it look easy. He made it look easy too.
The surf changes things.
And I think what's great to see is, like you said, he used to be so dominant in the swim, and just of late, he's not even a guaranteed front pack swim in the WTS. So great to see him out dominating the swim here and allowing himself a little bit of time in transition to execute it brilliantly.
We'll head down now to the black carpet to Tim Ford, who'll be very happy.
What a swim and a solid start from Henry Schoeman.
Yeah, the last thing I said to Henry before he hit the water was, you're the best swimmer in the sport, mate. Remind everybody of that fact. The fact that we got the 2 first boys out of the water, excellent. We were after the points today, and it's great to see them in executing so far.
Yeah, great for Taylor Reid as well.
Absolutely. I really think we're going to see, like, here they come now, there's 3 of them at the front of the race. We're Bahrain victorious. There's a reason we called that.
Thank you.
So Alex Shee's
3
just
on
got
the front.
Yep, and Alex Shee has just joined that lead pack. Bit of a gap now. Back to
Blumenfeld's overtaken about 7 people in that lap. Oh no, there he is. Sorry, I thought that's Valasa who was in the white. Blumenfeld's on the back of the group, and Vanassen hasn't passed our timing match. There he is. So he is going to be well back, Reese Vanassen. With 3 Scorpions on the front leading the way.
You've got to stay out of trouble here. The 3 Scorpions are going to stay out of trouble. We saw in the men's race last year a lot of crashes. If you're up the front, you're out of danger. If you're going to crash, you're better off doing it at your own accord and not having someone else bring you down. So it's good riding. Sachar, who hasn't had a great series on the front, well, our best biker last year in the series. He was 3rd in this race in Malibu last year. Second
behind Wild,
yeah. That was a big breakthrough for him in Super League racing. Had the 2nd fastest bike lap behind. Chase McQueen actually had the fastest bike lap here last year. But Sagiv was 2nd. He's finished 12th overall and then 9th overall in the series, of course, with that podium in Malibu. Bergier moving up now. The 2022 world champion was right up the pointy end of the podium last weekend. And group there with Yi on the back. He had a very difficult race last week, doesn't want to get dropped by a pack ever again. And we'll head down now to Tim Don, who'll have no doubt plenty to say about Bergier hitting the front right now. He's with Becca.
Tim Bergier in a really solid position up near the front there. A tight bike leg so far.
Absolutely. He didn't have the best swim by his standards, but he wanted to get to the front. This big pack, transition is everything. We want to try and get that short shoot as well, but Maddie House is in a great position. But those Scorpions are doing well today.
Thank you.
He's such a smooth operator, Leo Berger, isn't he? You know, sometimes he goes unnoticed in a race.
Yeah, he does. He really does. He's got that.
His bike handling skills are the best in the peloton. He's remarkable the way he handles the bike. We used to see that in the old Singapore courses, his old racing on Jersey, and we've seen it this year.
Just then. It helps that he's at the front because then he gets to take whatever line he wants to, but he also uses the entirety of the course. He takes every apex and he goes wide when he needs to, and Sagiv's the only one who can go with him now. Schoeman is dropping off the back, and there's a big long line behind, and I was actually incorrect. It was Valasa of previous years. So last year Sagiv was the 2nd fastest bike behind McQueen, but the overall bike times, all of them are held by Vasco Valasa, top 3 bike splits on this. So, and he's currently sitting in that group though, so that's going to hurt him. He's sitting there about 4th from the back.
That was Blumenfeld overgeared there. Christian doesn't like these technical bike courses. He's very, very strong on this back section. He's been able to ride onto the back of the group, but he's really struggled for those tight turns.
Yeah, it's not everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
It's a tight course, isn't it? There's some long stretches, but just see Johnny Brownlee there on the right-hand side of our screen. Leo Berger, though, working really hard. And I think Sagiv just wants to pull something off for this season. Having had such a strong season in Super League last year, he's had a really difficult start to the season. Hayden Wild on the left-hand side of our pictures, just coming through. First real sighting of him.
Look how wide they are coming into this corner. This is dangerous stuff. This is a tough corner. But around they go and everything's fine. Eddie Emerson doesn't look at the screen. She didn't have the stomach for it. But Brownlee coming up. Dixon fighting. Valasa there. Schoeman dropping back. And Wild sitting in on the back of Brownlee. Velasa in between them. Sorry, he's so small, Vasco Velasa. He just they didn't even see him.
Dan Dixon was leading that group 4th here last year. Great to see the young Brit pulling his
Stuhlmacher as well, holding on there, which is good. But, gee, Hayden Wild looks like he's on one today.
So does your Alex Yee. He moved himself up from a really bad swim, put himself at the back of that group.
So, another short shoot in the offing. Sagiv can deny Berger, but he can't win another one for the Scorpions. Tim Don will say, listen, mate, you need this short shoot. And he's going to get it too. He's going to get it.
Oh, he got it.
Oh, bad transition.
Get it easily in the end. And the Eagles pick one up. Sagiv comes across second. Dixon, Brownlee, Wild, Velasa, Reed, Skuman, McQueen and Holm, Blumenfeld, and Hauser's dropped back.
Hauser does not
Sanchez.
look good. Hauser is not looking good. He usually has that comfortable gait out of
We both picked him too for this one.
Yeah.
And not just for his compatriot. Pearson needs a big run if he is going to figure it all. He's 21 seconds back. Don't forget, every second lost to the leader is obviously paid for in the pursuit start if you're just joining us. And 3 people are going to be eliminated off the back here as well. So Wild leads this chasing pack. Dixon looks like he's digging deep. Velasa looks very strong, though. Brownlee back at the front after 2 seconds.
looks the same as he always does.
He does. Blumenfeld looks like he's running from the police. He's putting everything into it.
Look at Yee, though. A little bit off the pace there. That's a surprise. I think he took a dent in confidence in Pontevedra, and it must have been a pretty tough week for him, having gone into the World Championship final in Pontevedra as the favourite, and then finishing way down the field. But look at Lubesha, so confident.
He spent a lot of time catching up too. He had a terrible opening swim, and he had to fight with. He benefited from Velasa and I think it was Canute that were able to help close the gap. So he had to work very, very hard.
We'll head down now to Tim Don, who, as always, has something to say.
Berger right out the front in such a strong position. Are we hearing there might be an injury issue with Matt Hauser at all?
No, that's news to me. So, if someone can text me and tell me if that's the case. But these seconds count. We saw that in the last race of the women's. So we need to keep our rhythm and we need to hold that position. 4 minutes between the next race is not a lot, so you need to get those seconds now.
Thank you.
Wow, look at Christian Blumenfeld, the Olympic champion, coming up into 3rd place, world chasing Leo, isn't he? These guys are not hanging around here. They know that every second really does count in this race. And Blumenfeld, though, just such a different style of running. But
such a brilliant
runner. But look at him go, though. He looks like he's putting in way more effort. When you look at him versus Hayden Wild or Berger, they look like they're in a different race. But he had the 2nd fastest bike split, Christian Blumenfeld, behind Velasa. And then Wild, Berger, and Yee was your 5th fastest bike split as he tagged onto the back of that group. But Alex Yee is losing ground on the run.
Yeah, he's not looking comfortable.
He is not running like we expect him to. He's 8 seconds back with Hauser at this point. So Alex Yee, as we usually expect him to just run away with it. It's not happening today.
No, it's a bit of a tough week, but I think he talked about how Paris was so important. He went to the test event and won it, and I think he's just been on a bit of a low since then, surprisingly.
Well, results-wise at least, yes. But there he is, fighting with Matt Hauser, both contenders, no doubt. At the front, though, it is all the Scorpions and the Eagles. Although Johnny Brownlee, who has never won, I went back and checked, he's just never won a race. He's finished 2nd so many times. I don't think he's ever won a race. Like, gone back 4 years. Has he ever won one?
I have him down as having won one in Singapore.
Years ago.
In Singapore. Pretty sure it was in Singapore.
He did win one in Singapore.
Yeah.
2019 Grand Final in Singapore. When Vincent Lewis had a flat tyre but still rode his way into a championship win. And Katie Zafiris had a huge sprint finish with Cassandra Beaugrand. Probably one of the best moments ever in Super League racing. You're right, I've been corrected.
Christian Blumenfeld on screen, sitting in 3rd position. He's won an Ironman World Championship. Like, it's ridiculous the range of talent this athlete has. And here he is racing over a mile with the fastest athletes on the planet, the former world champion from last year, Leo Berger in front, Hayden Wild, who finished 2nd in the world this year over the shorter distance. And he's right there.
Look at these gaps. They're not even 1,200 metres in, and look at the gaps that are forming. You'd expect them to be all together, but Wild, I think, is really pushing this really hard. That's where he likes to be, at the front of the race. And if he's not, he's had a couple of tricky races. We won't talk about Toulouse, but there have been other races as well where he's made a lot of mistakes. And I think he comes into this really wanting to make amends at the end of the season.
Oh, they're really going quick now, these two. They really want to put some time into the rest. Wild and Berger are going to start the recovery clock at 4 minutes, and they have a string of the world's best athletes behind them.
And he locks out a short shoot.
Yeah, he does. Locks out the short shoot for the Scorpions. So it's only the Scorpions and the Eagles who will win a short shoot. There are 2 Eagles behind Hayden Wild. Blumenfeld finishes 3rd. Velasa, Brownlee, Sagiv, and Sanchez Mandicon. And look at the face on Henry Schumann. That was a little scary as he crosses the line in 8th position. Yee, Dixon, Hauser all sitting there within the 10-second mark. Reed dropped off the back after having a very good swim, as did Max Stapley, who's going to finish in 14th and around 23, 24 seconds back. And Morgan Pearson, he says, what's the time? How much have I lost already? Welcome to Super League Racing, Morgan. Warriors coming over down the back. Pearson the best of them, and the Warriors are going to start to struggle in the points overall.
I thought we'd see a bit more from Pearson. I know you said differently, you know, the swim was always going to be a bit tricky for him, but he has such a strong run. But this is different, isn't it? This is different to any sort of racing. It's a different energy system. Ben Canute there.
Sad for Ben Canute. He's one of everyone's favourite racer, Ben Canute. He's here with his family, his wife Courtney and his 2 kids, and found it a bit tough for him. He's been so good in middle distance racing recently, and across the line also comes Vitaly Vorontsov. We head down now to Rebecca Charlton.
Hayden, I've just put in the run of my life to keep up with you down there. We spoke after Toulouse. Understandable, such disappointment. Today's going rather well.
Yeah, it's gone all right. The swim was, I was in the group, but took a little bit to get my feet on the bike. Suffering from a little bit of sickness, so I just wanted to get as much time on that run as possible. Felt pretty good. Just was trying to be smart on the run and attack on the tailwind and try and have no one on myself when I was in the headwind. But Leo got onto me, so I will see what happens. But we'll keep fighting.
Gonna let you go, Hayden. Thank you.
Always appreciate the athletes taking the time to chat to us, but there's no time to muck around. They go straight into transition and they just keep going. But Henry Schumann looked behind and thought, I'm on one here at the beginning. He obviously found it going a little bit tough after that, and finished in sort of about 8 seconds back. But he got the short shoot for the Scorpions, and he got the swim points as well, which is very important for the teams overall from Perham and Reed. But when they transitioned again, it was Berger and Shachar Sagiv who had a great bike and then hammered out on the run. There's Wild, who was sitting in 5th. He overtook the rest of them to take the second short shoot option and pick up some more points for the Scorpions. And as it stands, as they come across the line all together, the results will be up on your screen. 1 second back to Berger, 10 seconds covering the top 10. Alex Yee didn't have a great run. Schumann dropped back to 9 seconds. Johnny Brownlee there or thereabouts. As we said, 1 win to him, 6 second places as well to add to that. Shachar Sagiv also in the top 5. Velasa Blumenfeld as well. The second page of results, Matt Hauser, well, he fell back 9 seconds too. Big group of them there. He'll need a big swim in the second round, as will Taylor Reed and Max Stapley and Chase McQueen when it comes to that, who's 35 seconds in arrears. Vitaly Vorontsov set the fastest run lap, 2:02 at a 2:34 pace to finish last.
Wow.
Yep, that was the instructions given by Tim. We needed those points on the run. We had to send him out to get the run points. We had Henry grab those swim points.
So tactical.
He did his job.
So tactical.
Blumenfeld and Vanassen were the other top runners, and then Wild was close or there or thereabouts as well. As we head back in to stage 2. Can you believe the break is over and the race is back on? And a fast start off the sand by the shark at the top of your screen.
Max Stapley.
And next to him, a Scorpion of Henry Schumann. And he'll be looking to do exactly what he did last time around. And it's just, as the tide continues to go out, and we're just caught it at a point where there's quite a long dolphin dive, which is setting fast times.
Well, the bank's starting to open right up, and the waves breaking further out. Gives the athletes a little bit more wading they have to do to get into the swim. But again, it splits. The sharks on the right and the blue seem to have the inside line. I can't see the buoy, but that was always a straight line. But I would back Henry Schumann.
But Schumann seems to be going a different direction.
He's
everybody
going
else.
straight, and he's so used to leading swims. I'd back him that he's straight onto that.
The
that
birds are
buoy.
massive in this country. Look
Everything's
at the size
big
of
in
those
this country.
birds. They're huge. What is that? A pterodactyl swarm fly past as we continue the racing here at Super League Triathlon.
Wow, look at Henry Schoeman though. But some of the athletes, is that Hauser off the back?
I think it's Blumenfeld, Christian Blumenfeld off the back, struggling with that
I
weight into the water.
Short shoots on the bottom of your screen. There's only, well, they're the winners, but there is only one to go to Team Scorpions and one to the Eagles. So a team can only win one. It's going to be allocated by the manager, Tim Ford and Tim Don. We'll allocate these in the middle of stage 2. We'll let you know who has them as soon as we know. But at the moment, it's a couple of Scorpions at the front again, Schoeman and Taylor Reid.
We saw in the women's race, the second swim was the fastest swim. Yeah, we saw in this second race, in the women's race, the second swim was the fastest swim. There's less people in the water. It's not so congested around the boys, but that being said, it looks really bad right there.
And it's as bad as it looks, isn't it? That's
really
a horrible place to be when you're caught.
That's the only place I ever am.
No,
you know, I am. No,
that.
I am. It's horrible. It's going to happen to me tomorrow when they're racing this. I'm not looking forward to it one bit.
Are you going to do the swim?
I'm doing the whole thing.
Who's letting you do that?
I don't have to ask my mum. I'm 40.
Well, hopefully you're
though.
you're taking a little bit of something from this race and how these guys are racing,
No, I
and
can't.
you can put it into your race tomorrow.
No, it is completely unrelatable, the speeds at which these people are swimming, riding, running, transitioning, and just being as humans. But Schoeman out the front again is doing it better than anyone, with Reid. Lost Schoeman's feet, but a little wave helps him out. And this is a question of timing now.
Backstroke at the moment there.
Here comes a wave at the back. Who's going to be able to catch it? And Schoeman waits for it. Waits for it, and Schoeman catches it. And the two Scorpions are floating in up onto the beach. Who said the Scorpions weren't a seagoing animal? And Schoeman was smart there. He waited for that wave and made sure he was going to push off the sand and take it. And it's Reid and Schoeman out the front. Taylor Reid showing his, I guess, youth growing up in New Zealand, surfing in the waves, as the South African does as well, Schoeman. And there's a long gap back to another Aussie who now races for the UK in Stapley, and yet another Aussie in Hauser. So the Europeans do not enjoy the surf swim in general.
I mean, that was smart from Schoeman. He was watching all the way. He was on his back, just chasing that wave, looking out for it. What a smart move from him as well. And Reid, a better swim. We'd expect that from him, wouldn't we, really? I mean, he's chasing after another podium. We saw Reid on the podium in London.
That's true. And what Schoeman needs now is what he didn't have in the first bike, is someone to work with him.
He's got that with Taylor Reid, and Taylor will commit.
But look at Wild coming out now.
You'd almost think Wild might be able to break off these guys.
If he could get across to those two.
If they're just tardy, I don't think there's enough firepower maybe at the front of that bike.
If you take Wild out of the play, he will do all the damage to close gaps, and he is gone. He's so good in transition, and the rest of the group has been at the back. That was,
you know what, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think Wild has dropped that pack.
He's gone.
And therefore there are three solo.
Wild will be third. There he is.
There he is. So Wild will hopefully pick up, from a score, from your point of view, Mac, will hopefully pick up Reid, and the two of them can work together. Sagiv is on the back of this other pack. If he was team-minded, he'd slow down a bit.
Roll off.
Oh, he's not going to hang about.
He's not going to, though. Not a chance.
Definitely not. How are you feeling now, Macca? Because you've got four of your guys out in front.
I think that's Pearson, too, is sitting in 5th position, who's having a better time. He's obviously leaked about 25 seconds in the first stage, but I'm thinking it's Pearson in the black helmet. Am I right?
Satchar's riding down his teammate here. It's Pearson.
Yeah, you're right.
It is Pearson, yes.
He is sitting on Vasco Velasco.
Yeah, it's a good spot to be.
Velasco
was sitting the best bike splits, but he's not having a great time out, Alex Yee. And he needs one too if he is going to lead going into Neom, having already taken a win. But exactly as I, thank you, predicted, Wild has come up on Reid, and these two can work together to stay away from the chasing pack. We'll head down now to a very smug Scorpions manager, Tim Ford.
Tim looking understandably smug down here. 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Doesn't get much better.
Absolutely not. This is the way we want it to be. The thing I'm really happy to see is we're really competing as a team. While obviously there's the overall, we went out there to try to get the points, and to see the way the boys are working together, like, you couldn't ask for more. So proud of what they're doing.
The way Reid just surfed out of that water, it was just perfect.
Yeah, we knew he'd do well. He's a surf life-saving kid, so it's his natural element. We knew he'd thrive in this environment. And now we've got Henry off the front. It's just, this is what we've got. This is what we want to do.
Thank you.
Look at that grin. Oh, incorrigible.
Yeah, the one thing it does, having 3 off the front, ooh, Taylor Reid just overcooked that corner there on that wet circuit as they hit. But it puts the chase group behind under duress. They have to chase, they have to take risks, and crashes can happen.
And it's Hauser sitting on the front of that chase group there. But it looks like Wild doesn't want to stay with Reid either, because he's trying to drop him as well. I don't think he's intentionally trying to drop him, but it's just,
Just difference in bike skills. Hayden Wild is remarkable. The way he throws that bike around, it's all those mountain biking skills he has.
And correction
that's
there.
True. Bergier on the front.
it's Leo Bergier, it's not Hauser.
He knows he can't let Hayden Wild get away, and he needs people to go with him. And at the moment, it's Sagiv, just like it was last time, is the only person who can do that. So Sagiv and Wild, obviously, probably the 2 quality bikers in the field at the moment.
I think Taylor Reid sat up in 3rd position. He lost Hayden Wild's wheel, and he seems to have sat up. He looked back a few times down that back straight. He's waiting for Leo Bergier, who he knows will just, like a Formula 1 car, cruise around this tight circuit.
He is magnificent on the bike, isn't it? We saw it in Toulouse, just how well he rode that tricky course there. Well, there just looks like he's going to join forces with Skuman, but Skuman's still riding really, really well, because those guys having to work hard to pull back the deficit from that incredible wave he caught. Wow, what a swim from Skuman. Great to see him back at the front of the swims now.
So at the moment, it's very close between, well, no, the clubhouse leader at this point, if there was indeed a clubhouse, would be Hayden Wild, because 8 seconds was lost in stage 1 by Henry Skuman. So Wild, who is sitting in 2nd position, his main rival at this point in terms of people who came across the line together is Leo Bergier, who is probably 8 seconds back, 7 seconds back at this point, leading a big string of riders, including Blumenfeld at the back there, and Perham, who's trying to hold on to the wheel of the pack. Brownlee's there as well. Velas has caught up a fair bit, so he's amongst that group. But these 2 together have 1 more lap to go on the bike, and Hayden Wild, make sure you listen for that bell. That's the bell, Hayden. 1 more lap.
Leo Bergier had a great lap then. I think he closed some of that gap. It seemed to on screen. Him and Satchar Sagir just sitting on the front of that 2nd chase group. Hayden Wild's he just gets his way through these bike circuits all over the world. He's great in Toulouse. He just handles the bike so well. Henry Skuman will benefit from that. But no matter if he has a bad swim or a great swim, he just gets himself to the front. He's a remarkable racer.
If anyone at home is playing the how many times Macca is going to say remarkable game, we're up to 5.
9.
So we've still got time. If your bingo number was 9 or 10, you're still in with a chance, as we head down now to Michelle Dillon, who will be wondering what happened to her team-leading Sharks.
Michelle, Brownlee, the top place Shark at the moment. A lot of blue behind, but he's in a fantastic position in this overall series.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he is in a very strong position to win this series, and today he is doing really, really well. I mean, surf's not his strength, so like surf swim, so I think that all the swims he's had so far have been pretty good, and obviously that surf is throwing different things at us today, and 1 minute someone's leading and the next minute they're behind. So, you know, I think I just want to hope that last swim's going to be okay for our guys, but so far I'm really happy where they are.
Thank you, Michelle.
All right, big group, and it looks like at the current staggered splits, Hayden Wild is around 4 seconds ahead of Henry Skuman, who's a couple of seconds ahead of Leo Bergier. And then there's a big gap back to Sagiv and Blumenfeld as the top 5 based on the cumulative times from stage 1 and stage 2. As it stands right now, with a run to go and 2 laps of 800 metres as they head off the bike and into transition, the 2 Scorpions in front. And we haven't seen this in quite a while. The defending team from 2022 has struggled in some ways with injuries, illnesses and bad luck in 2023, but it's not happening here in Malibu with Wild and Skuman at the front. Sagiv and Reid in the top 7 as well. It's a red wave, and Skuman's leading that run, and these 2 will run it home together, trying to put time into Bergier especially. Hauser just not having a day. Yee either.
Again, Blumenfeld last out of transition from the group. He doesn't do himself any favours, Christian Blumenfeld.
But he's working his way back into this.
He'll work his way straight through it, you watch.
But also in terms of the shorter distance racing, you know, he's got a little way to go. He's been out doing the longer stuff, and we'll see him back, won't we? But 12 seconds down.
He'll use that back straight. He winds up like that running bull he is. And
he actually had the fastest run in stage 1.
Yeah, there you go.
So 2:47 pace. To Hayden Wild's 2:48 pace, mind you, but still, you can throw a blanket over the top 5. Blumenfeld had a faster run than Yee, had a faster run than Wild, Sanchez and Hauser. So the time he loses in transition, he makes up for by running like a wounded bull through everybody. But at the front, Wild looks composed, doesn't he? Schoeman looks like he's easing into it as well. He looked pretty dusted at the end of the first run, but he looks better this time, and in fact he has the short shoot. So the decision from Tim Ford was Hayden Wild can win this on his own. Henry Schoeman we want on the podium. Is that the thinking behind that decision, Chris?
Pretty much. I think over the overall, I think he thinks that Hayden can get himself out of any problem. Oh, Leo Bergier getting that short shoot may be interesting.
That's a shot back from Don.
Yeah.
He's the only other one who's really in the mix maybe for the podium at this stage.
Right, let's have a little look who's at the front of that chase pack with Leo Berger. And it is Alex Yu, seems to have warmed into this race compared to the first leg, which didn't go so smoothly.
Yeah, you're
for
right.
him.
I wonder. It's not normally like that for Alex Yu. He's still young and he just gets straight into it from the get-go. Like he's not a diesel engine athlete.
Oh, it's all about the
necessarily.
swim. All about the swim.
Yeah,
though,
in this context, 100%. I mean, his swim has improved dramatically in the last couple of years, as has his bike. He's one of the best bikers in the field as well now. But I guess the surf swim is another level, and the short shoot going to Schoeman confirmed and Berger confirmed, who is at the back of this group of 4, or maybe third in this group of 4. Sorry, with 3 Eagles and Tim Dong looking extremely tense. There is Blumenfeld, though, who is picking people off. I can't wait to speak to Morgan Pearson after this. How was your first taste, pal? What did you think?
Harder than I thought.
That's what everybody says.
He's a man of few words.
That's what we asked Cam Worth, I think, in this exact spot last year. Yeah. Thinking he was going to get short shoots in to get eliminated after the first 2 stages.
Tim, you got 3 Eagles in a row there.
Yeah, absolutely. They're like a flock of eagles in Los Angeles. But no, seriously, this is about the series. So Leo's got the short shoot, but I'm so glad Vasco's come in and he's just delivering. Fantastic.
He's smashing it. We'll let you focus, Tim.
Yeah, Velasa really bouncing back, actually, from disappointment. He was in the World Championship mix in Pontevedra last weekend, but he just didn't have the race he wanted to have. It was in the offing, and I suppose you could say the same for that man there, Hayden Wild, who had such bad luck with his swim cap last weekend. He seems to be beset by bad luck, things like that happening from time to time.
I think they're little mistakes, though, They're not so much bad luck, are they?
Maybe I'm doing it. Maybe I'm not. Yeah, I'm giving him too much leeway. Huh?
But he's such a talented athlete.
But he dropped that swim cap.
He did drop that.
It hit a pole. If it'd gone in the water, it would have been no problem.
Yeah.
But he made the decision. He said, "Well, Alex Yee would have got on my back if I had stopped." And then he told me in the first 2 minutes of that bike last weekend, to talk about them being like a completely ridiculous athletes. He averaged 520 watts over 2 minutes to get onto the back of the pack at Pontevedra. And then the pack didn't work for him or work with him, and that's why it didn't work out for him. But it's no problem with a pack here in Super League racing as Hayden Wild looks to put time into the rest. And Henry Schoeman has had a much better run, as has Matt Hauser. So a tough first stage. We've seen that for a few athletes. Not for Hayden Wild, though. He has a great one. And then that better second stage, Hauser's had that, Yee's had that as well. Velasa's had a better one too. But all that time is important, and it's 9.1 seconds back to Berger, who was with Wild. And we'll get you provisional timings for the pursuit start very, very soon as the clock starts ticking on the gap between stages. Brownlee back 20.9 seconds.
Yeah, that's disappointing for him. He just can't find his run at the moment. The swim's there, the bike's there, but he's finding it tough on the run. Taylor Reid as well, who led early on in this leg. Back 32 seconds
Here comes the
now.
flag. Here comes Tomo's flag. I can tell you, at night, at home, Michael Thompson sleeps with that flag every single night of the year. He pulls it over like a doona and goes to sleep. Absolutely enjoys it. Yeah, sadistic almost in a way. Look at his face. Look at it. Oh, is that nothing? You don't want to run towards that. Chris Perham is feeling it right now. Don't look him in the eyes on the way past. You don't want that at all. Your provisional top 10, Hayden Wild looks to be about 10 seconds ahead of Bergier and Schoeman together, with a further 5 seconds back to Christian Blumenfeld. So can Schoeman swim down the Falcon, Hayden Wild, in the opening 300? We're going to find out very, very soon. Beautiful day here in Malibu now. The racing heating up, the weather heating up as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a warm last leg here. Very different to the age group racing this morning when it was
some bedraggled
absolutely
humans
pouring
here.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, there was some sad-looking runners out on course when we arrived this morning at the Olympic distance race, Malibu Triathlon. Malibu Tri, one of the great...
Henry, I'm just going to dive in. I know you're very focused in transition at the moment, but a 1-2 at the moment out there.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm not having a good day, actually, but at least I'm still up there in the front, having a good surf swim. But it's all to win and lose in the last round.
It's so crazy in that swim, and you've perfected it.
Yeah, well, I guess it looks a lot easier than what it actually is, but yeah, hopefully I can bring it home in the last one.
We'll let you focus. Thank you so much. Well, you can see that I'm down here in the absolute thick of it. And, well, we're going to let you go, actually, because we've got to get straight back to the action.
Tim Ford was cut. He's cut. He's been brought back down to earth. Anyway, we get into the action from stage 2, and it was a fast and furious swim, and no one was faster or more furious than Henry Schoeman. It seems to be this epidemic where people who have dominated a stage go, oh, I'm not feeling great. I feel a bit sick. Oh, I've got a broken ankle. No, you haven't. You're going great. And just claim it and move on, and that's what Henry Schoeman certainly did after that swim, as opposed to stage 1 where he had a great swim and then dropped back to 8th or 9th. He actually stayed with the front pack. He got help from Taylor Reid. He got help then from Hayden Wild, who came through the pack and ended up winning this one. But the Scorpions were right across the front throughout. And that was the point where Hayden took control of the race, and then these two together came out. Good transitions from both of them, but all 5 Scorpions were up near the front, or 4 of them actually, with Vorontsov having been at the back, despite that big run. And Hayden Wild, well, flew across the line in the end, and he's got around a 10-second gap back on Schoeman and Bergier, who will need to swim up to him, because I don't think the bike and run, they're going to be able to cover a gap. They could stay with, and we could have a grandstand finish.
Well, Henry Schoeman was saying to me that he's not feeling very good out there today. I mean, it's not showing, is it?
Yeah, if that's his bad, I'd hate to see him at his best. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, and what are your observations in such a strong position at the moment?
I think what we're looking at is those boys are in a good opportunity to try to work together, really push the swim. We saw them do exactly what we wanted them to, push the swim and try to stay away on the bike, because this isn't a course you want to be in a group for, and it worked well. So hopefully we just see the same again.
And it's all about keeping a cool head out there, because it is so hectic.
Yeah, exactly right. There's a lot. I mean, we've seen what happened with Hayden in Toulouse, just trying to make sure that we mitigate those mistakes and keep everybody's mind in the game focused. There's a lot to do left to finish this up, so we want to make sure we walk away with the win.
Tim, thank you so much.
Little management masterclass
There
there
you
from
go.
Tim Ford, who comes in.
MG, look out.
Everything seems to be falling into place. Hayden Wild, there it is. Confirmed times, 9 seconds to Bergier, 11 to Schoeman, who can swim down Wild potentially. It's a lot. He'll need help from the elements, but he's had it the last 2 times. Blumenfeld and Yee, who's put himself in the top 5 with Velasa and Hauser.
If you're looking at that, it's Blumenfeld and Yee that aren't the strongest swimmers with Velasa. Hauser will be the one who'll close that gap and try and make some inroads onto Schoeman. It's who you've got in that swim that's key.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. We've got about 30 seconds before the last stage of what has been some enthralling racing here in Malibu. Don't forget, 3 weeks until the grand final in Neom. Couldn't be more different. Wild into the water. A long wait now for Leo Bergier, and the Falcon flies off the edge of the earth and into the water here in the Pacific. And the dolphin dives come. Those two go out together. Blumenfeld waits 5 seconds, does some weird thing with his face, and off we go. Velasa right behind him. Yee's off. Hauser's off. Sanchez off. Sagiv waits. He's off. Brownlee, the first shark of the day, with Dixon right behind. So there is Wild, top left of your screen, the pair of Bergier and Schoeman behind them, and then a big group who will be relying, as Macca said, on a swim from Matt Hauser, who is in there.
Johnny's struggling to get out of the water there, isn't he? Really.
Look, Hayden Wild, this is sort of unknown territory for him. He's not usually leading swim, so it's difficult to spot the boy, usually following feet. Leo Bergier is able to swim onto the back of his feet there.
Now, it hasn't taken long.
That's Henry Schoeman and Leo Bergier. Schoeman will love it. You should let Schoeman come around.
Hang on, no, that's Schoeman and Wild, no.
That's Schoeman and Wild and Leo Bergier.
Already 10 seconds gone.
Yeah. Hayden's not used to leading swims. It's tough.
Well, I didn't think it was going to happen by the first buoy.
He didn't have a great start into the water either. It was a bit slow going into the water.
Hauser leading that second pack too. They're coming together. These three need to stay away because now everything's negated. It's a first across the line is the winner. We've got the rest of this swim, 3 laps on the bike and a 2-lap run. Hayden Wild's probably your pick, but Bergier, all that 10 seconds he's worked for is gone.
Yeah, what Schoeman needs to do, or Hayden Wild in particular, is take Schoeman's feet all the way at the buoy. Hayden, back there in the chase group is Matty Hauser. He's going to chase and chase until he gets onto the back of Leo Bergier. Henry Schoeman loves leading a swim. We've seen him
stuck up there. Something's happened. Bergier got stuck on the rope.
So the rope is pulling out from the buoy where it's attached, and so some of the athletes are going under and some are going over, but when you get caught up on it...
Yeah, but Bergier got caught like the unluckiest fish. Anyway, still on the back of those feet, though. Hauser coming up on them.
Bit of a wave coming through there, but Schoeman doesn't want to hang around and wait. He's got no interest in waiting for Wild because Wild is going to outrun him. What he needs is Leo Bergier to get in front.
But what we've seen Schoeman be able to do is stay with them on the bike and then potentially have a great run.
And they're your two technically best bike riders in this field. If those two can work together, they can scoop up Schoeman, who's looking for a wave. He went to his back then.
No waves out there to speak of right now, so it's just going to be an honest finish. Looks like.
He's come across to look for this one. Oh, he's missed it.
Little runner coming up onto the shore, but this wave behind could draw the second pack up to this pack.
It's gone well for
that's Matty Hauser.
Has Hauser caught one?
Yeah.
Oh, not all the way, but some of the waves. He dolphin dives his way back in. Schoeman comes up onto the land for the last time. So in his element out there in 900 metres of swimming today, that is all over, and we have the bike and the run to go. Hauser's come onto the back of Bergier and Wild, but he's not having a great run up the sand, Matty Hauser. He just looks sluggish on the sand when he's just looked so good on the sand in previous years.
This transition for Matt Hauser is everything. When you've got Leo Bergier and Hayden Wild in front of you, who are technically so brilliant, you need to get that wheel straight out of transition and hold it.
I could just look sluggish from above because he's got such a long loping stride compared to the rest, but he stayed with them.
Valasa behind can also ride the bike very, very well. This is a power group off the front here.
Now it's 9 seconds back to Blumenfeld and Yee. So that's a lot. Even on his best run, Alex Yee might have trouble against Bergier and Wild on that kind of run. But it's about who forms on the bike as behind Schoeman looks and he sees Wild with that familiar head down stance as he gets into his power. And Hauser struggling to get onto the back of Bergier.
That's your little group, though, there, isn't it? Hauser can get back on, potentially Valasa, but the gap may just be too big. But I think the Bergier, Wild, Schoeman, Hauser could come together. Valasa's going to have to work really hard, but we do know his strength on the bike. Like, he's a little pocket rocket, the guy from Portugal. He really is. 23 years of age, one of the youngest guys racing here.
That's Hauser's safety net. Hauser's safety net. He missed that group. I think Hayden Wild will see Hauser off the back. He needs Valasa to close in on him, Matty Hauser, to help work together to close that gap in front, because these three together are gone.
Too big to me.
They're gone.
Yeah, it's 4 seconds between Hauser and Valasa on a course like this is actually quite a significant
I think Valasa will get him. Valasa will get him. Hauser will sit up and work better together. Yeah.
All right. Well,
you'd have to.
Well, I mean, he's not going to do it by himself now that there's a group of 3 at the front who are all going to work together.
That's your podium we're looking at now, isn't it? Barring any mishaps.
Just as we said, Henry Schoeman on the back of the 2 best bikers.
Yeah.
Which Schumann needs to do, no work on this, but don't leave any gap and then save everything he's got for whatever run he's got left.
He is a pretty smart racer. Well, no, he's an exceptionally smart racer, Schumann, and he's so experienced as well. But he's just got to sit in there tight now. Wild's going to try and make it a little bit hard. I wonder what's going through his mind. I think he thinks he can get the better of both of them, I think, on the run. Hauser just slipping on the shoe, and Velarza getting on the back wheel now of Hauser.
Good thing for Hayden Wild he needs to remember is that Schumann's got the short chute, and so has Bergier.
Yeah.
So he needs to make this bike very, very difficult, get that gap open, and then
here we are.
Transition.
We're between two teams there for a second as they're discussing how this one's going to play out. I'm sure they have differing opinions, and Schumann nearly drops it where Summer Rappaport did. Wow. He is hanging on, and I think he's just lost him now.
Oh, no, he's going to get back on. Come on, Schumann.
Ooh.
I like a 3-horse race. I don't want a 2-horse race here.
That was close.
That was.
Well, how much of a rattle does that give Henry Schumann when he knows he probably has a podium in the bag? And they would have seen, the two teams would have seen that occur and put the hearts in their mouths. So before their heart rate goes down, let's go down to them right now. They're with Becca Charlton.
Not ideal there for Henry Schumann. The same corner we've seen people run into difficulty on.
Yeah, I know, little thing, but again, not the end of the world. I think we've still got the short chute up our sleeve as well, so I think it'll be okay.
And the main thing is he stayed up there.
Exactly right.
There was an Eagles sandwich for a moment there.
There was indeed, and you know, Henry's up for the series win, so's Leo, so it's really important for us. But you know what, they've still got to run, so Henry can run back in it, and Hayden's on fire today, very impressive.
Thank you, Tims.
Oh, I'm looking
All right,
forward
let's
to
see
this
the replay
run. Yeah,
now. At the top
here.
being left of your, right of your screen, just a little slide on the wet part of the carpet that's in the shade. And it was enough to give Henry Schumann a big wobble, but he stays upright, and he's now 1 second back on the last split between these two who are now working together. Schumann in no man's land, as you're right. Velarza has just about caught up onto the back of Hauser. And then a big group with Yi, Segiv, and then 5 seconds back to Blumenfeld, who's on his own. So it has split up more than that. There is Blumenfeld at the back, rolling around in 7th position, as Hauser and Velarza look behind and say, excuse me, Shachar and Alex, can you do a little bit of this work, please?
Definitely the commentator's curse there, didn't I? I said, there's our podium, unless there's a mishap.
Henry needs to hold tough here. It's a very tough place to be, and he's looking up the road thinking, I was on that wheel, and now it's gone, and that gap will open up.
Yep, we're hoping that everybody heard that bell as well. Wild and Berger at the front, again, like they were in Toulouse. Everyone realising that there's just 1 lap to go, and we're going to get off the bike. Henry Schumann now has gone from 1 second to 5 seconds, and that just shows you two men working together versus one, especially one who's just had a big wobble.
I'd say he's happy to be on his bike, though.
I
You can
agree,
take that, right?
I agree. But he's going to have to run away from Hauser and Velarza and Yi and Segiv, who are all together and only 6 seconds behind. So Schumann now fighting to hold on to 3rd spot on the podium, and it is a race in two between the same men that were racing at the front in the last race, Wild and Berger.
Wow, it certainly is. This is going to be an interesting run. No upsets here today. The athletes know exactly what they've got to do. Half a lap to go. We can hear the bell for the final lap for the back markers. Brownlee now back in 26.5 seconds.
Long way back. It'll be interesting coming into transition now whether Hayden Wild puts himself in front of Leo Bergier. Leo's got the short chute. He's got 3 seconds on this run.
Schumann short chute will be important.
Big important
I
short
think,
chute, yes.
at the back end to hold on to 3rd.
But Wild is looking strong here. He knows this course. He knows what it takes to win. The winner here last year in 2022. He knows what it takes to win. Schumann just trying to hang on the back there. Safely round.
Bergier, like we talked about, Bergier constantly underestimated. We're like, Wild looks strong because Leo just goes about his business. He puts his head down. He doesn't have the face. It's always poker face. You know, you don't know what he's got in him. And when he does have, he's been at the front of every race he's been in the last few months.
Yeah.
And he's always figured. Doesn't make mistakes. He just doesn't make mistakes.
He doesn't make mistakes. Let's not say that.
What huge mockers on him there.
That's what Annie said last lap. But look, he's just kept Hayden Wild there on that turn as they come into transition. And again, Leo has that short chute. This will be very, very interesting.
If it finishes as it stands, and with potentially Wild winning, the gap between the Sharks and the Scorpions will have evaporated to about 15 points from what was 70. And the short shoot taken by Bergier and also by Skuman.
Well, he still has 7 seconds, doesn't he, over the chasers. Velarza, Hauser and Sajiv. All three of them great runners. And Yi as well, making up that chase group.
Yeah, he did not muck around. Short shoot gap. That's brilliant running. Hayden Wild, he saw the desperation as he came out of transition, sprinted. And now we're back to an even run for the title.
Well, you can't argue with a good show being put on when you've got two men of this quality in a foot race with 1.5 km to go in Malibu, California. That is exactly what you want to see from Super League racing. We saw fantastic racing and a Scorpions win in the women's race with Cassandra Beaugrand. Can the Eagles hit back through Leo Bergier after taking the win in Toulouse with Bergier last time around? Potentially, some people think due to a wild mistake. He obviously came back to 4th, so he was on form that day, and now we're seeing the race we wanted to see.
The race we should have seen in Toulouse, the race we wondered about. And Leo Bergier be thinking about that. A lot of talk after that Toulouse event about what would have happened with Hayden Wild. He looked better, and Hayden's hit him. Hayden's made a surge.
Off he goes, up the back straight into the wind on the first lap, and Bergier responds. So that's the first test. Wild 6 seconds faster than Bergier in running on previous stages. So that's an interesting one as it stands. If Bergier comes second, he's still going to lead the championship overall after a 4th from Wild. We'll head down now to the black carpet again to Tim Don.
Well, I have both Tims with me now. That battle is so hot at the front. Is Wild going to take it?
Yeah, I think so. He wants payback after what happened in Toulouse, so we want to see him get that first position today.
You're going to disagree, Tim?
Look, these are the two best athletes in the world going head-to-head. I want Leo to win, but you know what? We're all winning watching this amazing battle.
We'll let you watch it. Thank you.
How magnanimous, Tim Don. Not normally like that. As there's a rubber band that's stretching, but it hasn't snapped yet. But Wild has put the hammer down with 800 metres to go.
Hauser v. Skuman behind.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a camera angle, but it looked like that Hauser was running him down.
1.6 seconds between Skuman and Hauser, who has, like the big diesel engine, warmed up into this race after looking pretty rubbish, honestly, in stage 1. He has gotten better and better, Matt Hauser, and now he is right behind Henry Skuman. And is it going to be 2 Eagles or 2 Scorpions on the podium? That question is still to be answered.
Oh, and he's overtaken him now. Hauser's moved up into 3rd place already.
Well, that's a big gap now. I think Hayden Wild, he's digging really, really deep. He's got a face on him. It looks like the face he had in the super sprint in Hamburg when he dug very deep. And Matt Hauser's gotten better and better. He watched his beloved Brisbane Lions lose the AFL Grand Final by 4 points last night in his room. It was on very, very late here in Malibu, and he's looking to put himself on a podium to even that out, and I don't think Skuman's going to go with him.
He's just started to break Skuman there. I didn't think he got the enough gap yet to break him, but that starting to open up.
Wild looks strong. It's 2.6 seconds now. It could be more than that since the last timing, Matt. And it looks like it's going to be 2 Eagles and a Scorpion, but the Scorpion's going to be on top and complete a team clean sweep from the top step of the podium after Cassandra Beaugrand. But look at that, 4 Eagles in the top 6. And Alex Yee, the best of the Sharks. So Michelle Dillon is in a place that she has not been before.
No, it's a disappointing day for the Sharks and the British team.
You know why? British people have no waves.
No, we have
There's
no
waves. 0 waves in Britain.
We do, but you wouldn't get in them, that's for sure.
Yeah, when you see, obviously there's a lot of Antipodeans at the front of the race. And has been, especially in the swim. Is that blood on the side of Hayden Wild's face? I'm not sure. That could be anything. Chase McQueen is the first man to be eliminated on course today. Such is the pace. But it doesn't matter. There are the Eagles' wings from Michael Buchek, the on-course commentator. And Hayden Wild is going to turn onto the black carpet. And he's going to give his own Falcons wings. There it is, Hayden Wild takes the win. He did what he came to do, and it means a lot to him after last time out in Toulouse. He beats his main rival, Leo Bergier. Matt Hauser gets better and better to cross in 3rd position from Henry Skuman, who adds a 4th to his 3rd in Toulouse, and a sprint finish between Lee and Balassa. I think Balassa got him, and Blumenfeld did what he does and put himself in the pain cave for 7th. Chacha Sagiv, a podium last year. He finishes 25 seconds adrift. That was a race and a half. 3.3 seconds at the end.
Hi, Mum. Hi, Dad. We did it, baby. So far, thank you. You too.
And Hayden Wild, well, he said he was ill. He said he was 50-50 coming here a few days ago after racing last weekend, but certainly didn't show any sign of that, did he?
No, he got thrown off his flight, or moved off his flight as well, so he arrived late here. That was why it happened. But interested to know what happened to his hand, because he's taken a bash somewhere. That's for sure.
So that's blood on the hand that's transferred to the face.
Hey, probably that swim boy.
Yeah.
And he's gone straight into the medical tent. Hasn't stopped him whatsoever. And
no, I think I just hit the barrier.
Henry Schoeman, I think he's taken a bit off as well.
Well done, man.
A bit of love between teammates as well, the South African and the Israeli, Sakiv and Schoeman. What a hard race though, and that's exactly what we love to see. Hard, fair racing right on the edge, and that's the face we like to see at the end of the racing as well. The 1,000-yard stare will head down now to Rebecca Charlton, who I think is with Matt Hauser.
Yes, well, Matt Hauser joins me now. You moved up and up and up the field. How happy are you with that podium result?
Geez, Super League's a hell of a lot more fun when you're at the front, and had a lot of fun out there. My girlfriend Georgia came all the way from Australia to support me out there today, so it really helped. And no, just really blessed and thankful to be able to represent for the Eagles and bring home strongly.
How was it out there? It looked very hectic from the sidelines.
Super anaerobic. Like, no one understands how tough that ocean swim is. Like, being from Australia, and I'm still struggling out there, and pushing hard all the way, and try to close the gap on Leo and Hayden in the end, but they were too strong. But good to see a fellow Eagle up there on the podium as well.
Congratulations, it was brilliant to watch. Thank you. Leo, a tight battle all the way to the end there.
Yeah, I think we had the battle we wanted to have in Toulouse already, and it happened today, and yeah, I'm really happy that we went all out until the finish line, and I gave my best, and I did quite a lot of mistakes, so I will try to improve for the next round.
How do you keep your head in the game when it is that unpredictable, especially in that water?
Yeah.
We think his fingers, which looked like they had some blood, but a great win for Hayden Wild, who looks like provisionally will be third overall in the standings, with Jonathan Brownlee, who only picked up 6 points today on 28 in second from Leo Berger, who'll be our leader. But we'll hear from Hayden Wild right now.
Hayden, firstly, huge congratulations. What does this victory mean?
Oh, no, I'm stoked though. Since really Paris, I've just been on a downward slope, just with unfortunate mishaps and mistakes on my behalf as well. So it's just really nice to put actually a race together that I know I'm capable of, and stoked to do it again here in Malibu.
And what's going through your head when you know you're in such a strong position, you're going to secure it?
No, honestly, the whole time I knew that I wasn't really in a strong position. The first 2 rounds, I just needed to get time to get myself a good position into the water, and yeah, it was really choppy. It was just luck of the draw out there, and I had a real good second swim, and Henry got onto my feet straight away. We worked together for a couple rounds on the bike, which was really nice, and I told him on the run on the second round, I was like, just sit on me as long as you can. I'll take the headwind, and just to get some points for the team, and he held on really nicely, and it was good to get some boys up there.
Oh, it was so stunning to watch. And are you okay finally, because you've been in the medical tent?
Oh yeah, no, sweet as. Like, I think this is beating, I can feel it's beating more than my heart currently, but I did it last week. I cut myself with my razor trying to shave my beard, because I get so much growth, and when I did my transition, I just opened it up again, but it's fine.
Congratulations once again. It was stunning. Thank you. Enjoy.
Oh, thank you so much. Cheers for having me. Cheers.
Let's take a look now at the Eliminator results. Confirmed, and it was 2 Scorpions and 2 Eagles in the top 4. Matt Hauser overtaking Henry Schoeman. Leo Berger so close, 3 seconds. Vasco Velasa just ahead of Alex Yee in the top 5. And the other athletes who made it through, Taylor Reid, Emil Holm, Dan Dixon fell back, and Morgan Pearson was the last athlete not to be eliminated. When we look back at stage 3, Wild went 10 seconds off the front into the water, which, as Macca said, not accustomed to doing, and it was very close by the time they got out 300 metres later. Wild looking back and Berger looking back, but Schoeman only looking forward. He led out onto the bike, and he had a big wobble there in the shadows, which is the same place Summer Rappaport hit the deck very, very hard, and we do hope she's okay. I think there's nothing major, but did take a whack to the chin. These two were inseparable then after that, Berger and Wild, as they were for the bike in Toulouse before a mistake by Hayden Wild, or at least a change in the racing conditions. Nothing wrong this time though. The Falcon wings were out and Hayden Wild was too strong in the end. It was a fantastic effort from Wild to put himself into the top 3 in the overall championship standings and launch the Scorpions within striking distance of the Sharks, as the Eagles have done as well. We'll get confirmation from that too very soon. Time now for the medal presentation. An Australian, a Frenchman, and a New Zealander.
The medals and champagne will be presented by Leonid Boguslavsky, Chairman, Super League Triathlon. In third place from Australia, representing the Centara Tech Eagles, Matthew Hauser.
Great effort from Hauser.
In second place from France, representing
very happy
the
with that
Centara
result.
Tech Eagles, Leo Berger.
Berger, first in Toulouse, second here as well, and he will lead the standings going into Neom with 29 out of a possible 30 points.
And your 2023 Super League Triathlon Championship Series Malibu winner from New Zealand, representing the Bahrain Victorious Scorpions, Hayden Wild.
Hayden Wild picks up the top spot to erase the mishaps and mistakes, as he said, of the past month or so.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for your Championship Series Malibu medalists.
Hayden Wild on the second step, about the same height as the other two on the top step, as the champagne is about to spray. Apparently Berger needs to take the shoes off for the spray. Doesn't want to get them too wet. Doesn't bother the boys from down under though. And a well-deserved win. Taylor Reid and Alex Yee having a chat to the side of screen, having had a more difficult time out there. Let's have a look at the confirmed Championship Series provisional leaderboard. And a maximum 29 out of a maximum 30 for Berger. He'll lead going in to Neom. 1 point back to Brownlee, 1 point back to Wild, 1 point back to Yee, 1 point back to Schoeman. All of those athletes in the mix for the overall when we head to Neom in 3 weeks' time. It is perfectly poised. Dixon and Hauser can do some damage as well. Sanchez, Blumenfeld, and Reid, your top 10. Which takes us into the team leaderboard. The Sharks underperforming in a big way today. 15 points back to the Eagles and the Scorpions, who are well within striking distance, and a further 99 points back to the RTS Warriors. But the Sharks suddenly under threat from the Eagles and the Bahrain Victorious Scorpions. That is a very interesting place to be, with the likes of Brownlee and Dixon and Potter not doing exactly what they needed to do. Well, that wraps us up from here in Malibu. It's been a fantastic day's racing. We hope that you have enjoyed it. And don't forget, 3 more weeks until we head to Saudi Arabia and Neom. It's going to be a huge race. On behalf of Annie Emerson, Rebecca Charlton, Chris McCormack, and the rest of the team, we hope you've enjoyed it. Bye for now. What a race we have had here in Malibu. A pair of races with a pair of Scorpions standing atop the podium. All of them hard fought though. Cassandra Beaugrand was super strong in her run, as was Hayden Wild, especially his bike and run. And he held on in those swims where Henry Schoeman contended throughout, but ended up finishing 4th overall behind Matt Hauser and Leo Berger. It has been an incredible day. It was terrible and raining this morning during the Malibu Triathlon age group races, which raised over $1 million for the Children's Hospital Los Angeles. But now the sun was out, the wind was out, and the waves as well. It has been a really, really interesting day's racing, and we are going to wrap it all up now in the Extra Time show. And we're going to head down now to Rebecca Charlton, who is on the black carpet to start to dissect what has been an incredible day's racing.
Kaza is on it.
Just a slight difficulty there, so we will wait for Rebecca to be ready with her team managers as we look back at what has been some huge racing and really hardly fought over the course of this 2 hours or so of racing here in Malibu. Beth Potter pushed early. Cassandra Beaugrand was with her for most of the time before accelerating away, and the same thing happened with Berger and Hayden Wild as well in the men's race. It's been very, very interesting, and we're going to look back on all of it right now with Rebecca Charlton and Tim Don.
Well, Chris McCormack and Tim Don join me down on the beachfront now. I mean, what a race. Let's go right back to the beginning of this afternoon's racing and the women's action. Jeanne Lahair surfing that wave in stage one.
Well, we saw the waves. We know the waves are going to play a big part of this racing, and same as last year, Lahair was just amazing catching that wave and leading out. But that opening stage of the women's race set everything up. Those 4 women off the front sort of set the stage for the day's racing, and it was just a brilliant event all over.
And it is about the long game, the consistency, but that start, as you say, is pivotal. How do they keep a calm head?
Well, they don't. You should see them just before the race. Everyone's nervous because it's such pot luck. In any other event in the series, it's a still swim, and your talent, your ability puts you in the position you need to be. But here, with the waves coming into play, anything can happen, and that puts an element of nerves on it. So I think after the first stage, I think Tim will agree, it's your athletes start to settle a little bit. They get confident around that course. It's a very technical, tight course. There's a lot of crashes here last year, and they start to build through, and we saw that in the women's front.
Oh, we certainly did see that build take place. Tim Don, let's go back to that moment for Lahair. How difficult would it have been for her to secure that swim in the opening leg?
You know, she's been swimming really well this year, but to really do that, you know, it shows a skill level, and she's done it twice now, 2 years in a row. But I really agree with Chris. You know, the first race is hard. You know, they don't know how they're going to feel. They've been racing so long. We're getting towards the end of the season, and they have to turn up because everyone is hungry.
It's just so crazy. I can't get over seeing them in those waves because I know it's a bit of a cliche, but you cannot predict how it's going to be on the day.
Absolutely not. And it's not even just the initial get in and get out. It's choppy out the back. You could see they were sighting. They had to look where they were going so much to make sure that they're on track, they're on the feet. And, you know, Emma Lombardi, when she came out, when she finished that first race, she kind of like took a deep breath, and I think she thought, right, that's over. Now we can focus on racing. So, yeah, really good day out for everyone.
Well, we'll talk more about that performance in just a moment because I want to talk a little bit about the performance of Sophie Coldwell and that bike leg in stage 2. She must have put in a tremendous amount of work on her bike.
Well, Sophie's one of those athletes that I think does better when she's off the front. She's a great relay racer for Great Britain, and I think she finds her own lines. And I think she's such a good swimmer when she puts herself in that position. She just grinds that big power. So I thought she rode remarkably in that second race. I think she was only let down by the fact that the chasing group behind were able to get a little bit more of a rest. But I think all the teams did well. But I think for Centaur Tech and the Scorpions in particular, we were sort of barracking against the Sharks. They had such a big lead. So I remember looking at Sophie thinking, oh, please get caught. With the utmost respect, Soph, but we didn't need that to happen. So it was, but she's a brilliant racer and a great signing for the Sharks.
And what about the rest of the field in that second stage? Any outstanding performances for you?
Look, for me, having Cassandra Beaugrand back was great. She was very nervous coming into this race. You know, she's one of the world's best athletes, number 2 in the world, but she doesn't like these surf conditions, and she doesn't like the technicality of this bike course, and she was really nervous coming in, and I think she was one of those athletes I spoke about earlier that built the confidence, realised she could attack this bike race, and she just used her beautiful run to put herself in the position all day.
Well, of course, you're grinning even more than usual today because you took the victory with Cassandra Beaugrand in the final stage across that stunning finishing straight, and she had time to really enjoy that, didn't she? It's great to have her back.
Oh, without question. I think over this distance she's the best in the world. She won the World Championships in Hamburg this year over a similar distance, and I think she's just, you know, we've missed her in the team without question this year, and to have her back is great. She brings this element to the team, especially among the women, of this sort of stable, like doyen of the women's racing field. So, you know, I think all the women stood up because of her, and she sort of leads the way. And you know, me and Tim have been sort of smirking since the end of the race, because I don't usually barrack for eagles, but every time they were finishing in front of those Sharks or the Warriors, I was quite happy, because you know, both of our teams needed some points, and we did really well today.
A lot of smirking today from you two, that's for sure. And just finally, Tim, a 2-3 for the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, it's great, and you know, they're first and second in the series overall going into the grand final. But as Chris said, we needed the points, and we needed to get in front of those Sharks. And you know, after that second race, I was like, wow, you know, Sophie is looking so strong. But I think as they went on, the Eagles got stronger. And Cassandra, she's just such a class athlete at the moment. And when she finds her form, you know, she's really, really world class. And it's just, we've got one race to go.
We certainly have. Tim, Chris, thank you so much.
All right, let's have a look at the overall leaderboard now for the women. And Jean Leher taking 28 of a possible 30 points with a win in London and a third place here in Malibu. Lombardi launches herself into second overall from 4 Shark Brits, Watt, Potter, Caldwell and Matthias. And we head down now to Annie Emerson, who is with our provisional leader, Jean Leher.
Jean Leher, you are leading the series. How does that feel coming into this race here after a difficult race in Toulouse?
Yeah, I was really frustrated after Toulouse, especially because it was home, and I didn't really have not goal here, but I was okay. Now I don't really mind, because after Toulouse I was really hurt mentally, and yeah, then I don't want to expect too much to then be disappointed. So just go with the flow, and if it's good, it's good. If not, it's not. But it was good, so good.
So we've heard from the experts, we've heard from your team manager. Tell us a little bit about your race and how it felt. You had an excellent first swim.
Yeah, like last year, I don't really understand how and why, but yeah, I get caught more by the wave than me. I took the wave, but at the end I was second on the beach, and then I fight a bit until the lane, and then to get the short shoot. And well, the 2 other swim was not so good, like the last one especially. It was a bit sad that I couldn't follow Emma from far and got in the feet of Cassandre. But yeah, I saw she was completely far on the right, so it's more me, I was completely on the left. But yeah, next time I will try to see the boys.
And just one quick last one. What does the pressure feel like going into the final race as a leader?
I was not expecting this, so I don't know for now. I will try to take the race like today, like really it's bonus, and try to enjoy the process and the race. And I have a good team too, so it's like today, for example, I walk with Katia, for she walked with me, and it was really nice, so I hope she will maybe come in there.
Well, congratulations on your third place finish, and you're standing at the top of the leaderboard here.
All right, now after that women's race with Jean Leher putting herself at the top of the individual leaderboard, the team leaderboard looked like this. The Sharks underperforming somewhat, and the Eagles overtaking the Scorpions by 3 points after that one. Thanks very much to Lombardi and Leher's efforts. The Warriors were languishing behind, and the Scorpions needed to hit back. And we'll head back down now to Rebecca to wrap up the men's.
Well, these two still definitely smirking away, aren't you? Because in the men's battle, it was the Scorpions versus the Eagles, wasn't it? Let's, again, go back to stage 1. Talk us through it, Chris.
Well, again, the nerves over that swim. I think when you go into the men's race, you've had the luxury of watching the women's race, and you see the sweep in the swim, and I think Tim and I had both put our best 2 swimmers on the probably the worst side after seeing the women's race. So we had Maddie Hauser on the Eagles, and I had Taylor Reid. So the instructions came out pretty quick that we needed to get across as quickly as we possibly could. And it opened up in that first race. I thought we were lucky when we saw at the back Christian Blumenfeld from our perspective. But I think he benefited from Vasco Velasquez and Hayden Wild also having bad swims, and we were able to drag him back into play. But, you know, it's always exciting that first stage. You see the form guide. There was a lot of question marks about people coming in here. It's been a long season. They've just had World Championships, where their emotions are, where their commitment is to the racing. And you see that in stage 1. And I knew from that one my Scorpions were ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, in particular, Hayden Wild.
Yeah, I think he had a point to prove after the disappointment in Toulouse, and I think we saw that today, without question. I think that was the race we were all hoping to see in Toulouse. And, you know, he was reluctant, whether it was questionable whether he was going to come in earlier in the week. He was feeling a bit flat. He cut his hand in Pontevedra at the World Championships last week. I said, please get on the plane. He's like, oh, I don't know if I feel the best. And, typical Hayden Wild. He's just an amazing little racer, and you give him a sniff of victory and he just shines.
Well, there was a big challenger, wasn't there?
Yeah, I mean, I think what was really interesting is the bike. It was so fast. They were attacking every corner. And that second transition in all those races, it was fast and furious. And those seconds really, really counted. And it was a case of get the flock of eagles to the front and get the sharks at the back. I mean, it really was. And that's all testament to how the sharks have been racing, because they have been head and shoulders. But it's a long season. And I think, like Hayden's had some unfortunate luck. So's Maddie Hauser. He had to miss one early in the season. And those guys are coming through and showing their form. So, yeah, it's really good racing.
And what interested me was the teamwork in the bike legs with Hayden Wild and Henry Schoeman.
Oh, that was a big advantage. I think they got lucky with catching that wave close into shore and gave them the gap. And the talk in the team meetings all week were if you get an opportunity, you need to strike on this course. It's so technical, and both of them together were great. And for Henry Schoeman, it was wonderful because Hayden Wild and Leo Bergier, I think, are technically the best bike riders. And to have Hayden Wild's wheel to follow, it really benefited Henry, and they were able to get that gap, and he was able to run himself for Henry Schoeman into a potential podium position going into stage 3.
And Schoeman, as you say, so technically competent, but he pushed it so hard on that turn, he ultimately lost his position there.
Yeah, we saw that being a real critical point in both men's and women's race. I think it was coming off that wet carpet, with all the rain in the morning and that carpet being wet, and then hitting that dry concrete. People were losing their front wheel, and we brought that up having seen Summer Rappaport crash in the women's race. We said that going in, guys, you need to be careful on that corner, and luckily for Henry, he felt it and held it up because it would have been a tragedy for us.
It certainly was. It's brilliant that he stayed up. Now, Tim, talk us through that final third, an all-important stage. The battle was just so hot.
Oh, the battle was hot, and it wasn't just for the win. It was deep because we needed those points. And, you've got the current Olympic champion, and you see how hard he's fighting. That's how fast it is. And, that run, everyone was really, really working. And, Leo got the short shoot. He took it early. But Hayden, you could just see he was having one of those days that he had quite a few last year. So it was a bit of unfortunate for us. But, I think there's a lot to play for. And the racing was just so good.
It really was. And another 2-3 on the podium for you. And Matt Hauser just moved up and up and up. It was brilliant to watch.
Last year he had a crash. He missed the first race. And I think to himself, he's been on tour a long time. He hasn't been back home, haven't seen his family for such a long time. This is a big, big day for him. And as you said, he got stronger and stronger. We put him out wide, so he got a clear line for that first swim. And it didn't quite come out because the sweep came in. But he never gave up, and he fought to the end. And you could see he was gaining in confidence. And afterwards, he was like a man who'd won. So I'm really, really happy for him. And yeah, I mean, everyone needed those numbers.
Tim, Chris, as ever, big thank you.
Thank you.
Analysis there, and we are going to see what the leaderboard looks like after that one, because we turn one eye now to Neon. And Leo Bergier, with a win and a second place, is 1 point off the maximum 30. And then it's 1 point back to Brownlee, 1 to Wild, 1 to Yee, and 1 to Schoeman. So it is so delicately poised heading in to Neon. Dixon and Hauser a little bit further back from Sanchez, Blumenfeld and Reed. We head down now to Annie, who is with Hayden Wild.
Hayden, I asked you how you felt a minute ago, and what did you say to me?
I actually forgot, to be honest.
Okay, I said, how did you feel today? And you went, fantastic, great, amazing. And you certainly did. What a race. What does it feel like to be back on top?
No, I'm super stoked, hey. Since Paris, it's just been a bit of a disaster mentally. Just crashing in Paris, having a nightmare in Toulouse. Pontevedra didn't go too well for me, so it's just really nice to put a race together today.
Talk us through that swim, because I look at it and I just think, how do you guys do it? We talked about the fact that the last entry wasn't your best.
No, it wasn't. I had a good first swim, and then a second swim was my best. But that third one, my legs were a bit jiggly, and I got into a really bad set, and I just had to play with what I had. But I had my teammate Henry in there, sat on his feet coming home, and caught a little wave in, and we just worked together, and we saw Matt right behind us, and then we had to really hit it hard fast because we knew that Matt's deadly on that run, and especially the last run with his kick, and he showed that today.
You're pretty mean to Leo, weren't you? Because when you decided to go, you put the hammer down, but he had 2 wins against you this year, so you knew you had to do something pretty special on that run course to beat him.
Yeah, it was lucky I didn't take lucky I didn't get the short shoot, because I just got told you had to take it on the first lap. If I had the short shoot, definitely would have taken on the second round, so I would have got a penalty there. But I knew that I just had to sit on him for a little bit and then just really attack as hard as I could into the headwind. I got a little bit of a gap and then just really pushed hard and saw that I had a gap and just kept pushing.
Who's going to win the series? It's so tight at the top.
Yeah, I didn't have a great race in Neon last year, so I'd love to go back and have a good race. So anyone could win, any of the top 5. So we'll see what happens.
Great stuff. Congratulations for today.
Thank you so much.
Hayden Wilde more relieved than anything else, and fair enough. And the Sharks need to go back to the drawing board, because between Wilde and Beaugrand, and of course the efforts of all the other Scorpions and Eagles, they have dramatically closed the gap on the Sharks. 15 points back to the Eagles and Scorpions, who are tied in second. It is all to play for. 300 grand on the line for the teams. The Warriors 99 points adrift. So we head back down now to Rebecca.
Oh my goodness, I think we all need a good lie down after that. Not just the athletes, but all of us watching on the sidelines. We're out of time here on the stunning scenery here in Malibu. Join us next time for Neon and the Decider. Bye for now.
Welcome back to... Hello and welcome to Malibu. Hello and welcome to Malibu in sunny California and round 3 of Super League Triathlon. It's been a 3-week break and we are back racing in the second half of the season. And this time, as it has been in Malibu for the last couple of years, it is the Eliminator format. 3 stages of swim, bike and run, with 3 athletes getting cut at the end of each stage. Of course, the 90-second rule is in effect as well, so anyone who falls further than 90 seconds behind the leader will also be eliminated, and that is why this is such a brutal format. At the halfway point of the season for the women, if you're a Sharks fan or a British fan, you'd be very happy. Kate Woff on the top, but Olivia Mathias and Jess Fulliger are both not here, so there will be plenty of movement at the top end of the leaderboard. Look out as well for Jean Lahaire, who was disqualified last time out, and Leonie Perriot, who have both scored well but only had 1 race. Sophie Caldwell is in the same boat, as is Emma Lombardi. And then further down, look for the warriors of Katie Zafiris, Summer Rappaport and Kirsten Kasper, who are all back on home turf. Hello and welcome to Malibu in sunny California and round 3 of Super League Triathlon. It's been a 3-week break and we are back racing in the second half of the season. And this time, as it has been in Malibu for the last couple of years, it is the Eliminator format. 3 stages of swim, bike and run, with 3 athletes getting cut at the end of each stage. Of course, the 90-second rule is in effect as well, so anyone who falls further than 90 seconds behind the leader will also be eliminated, and that is why this is such a brutal format. At the halfway point of the season for the women, if you're a Sharks fan or a British fan, you'd be very happy. Kate Woff on the top, but Olivia Mathias and Jess Fulliger are both not here, so there will be plenty of movement at the top end of the leaderboard. Look out as well for Jean Lahaire, who was disqualified last time out, and Leonie Perriot, who have both scored well but only had 1 race. Sophie Caldwell is in the same boat, as is Emma Lombardi. And then further down, look for the warriors of Katie Zafiris, Summer Rappaport and Kirsten Kasper, who are all back on home turf. Down, look for the Warriors of Katie Zafiris, Summer Rappaport, Leonie Perriot, who have both scored well but only had one race. Sophie Colwell is in the same boat, as is Emma Lombardi. And then further down, look for the Warriors of Katie Zafiris, Summer Rappaport and Kirsten Casper, who are all back on. Look out as well for Jean Lahaire, who was disqualified last time out, and Leonie Perriot, who have both scored well but only had one race. Sophie Colwell is in the same boat, as is Emma Lombardi. And then further down, look for the Warriors of Katie Zafiris, Summer Rappaport and Kirsten Casper, who are all back on home turf.